Loss of trust in the man following all those scandals and more.
Johnson narrowly survived a no-confidence vote last month by his own party. WNBA player Brittney Griner pleaded guilty to drug possession and smuggling, according to Russian news agencies. The report quotes Griner via interpreter as saying her actions were unintentional because she was packing in haste. Griner is accused of having vape canisters with cannabis oil in her luggage. Griner's wife, Sherelle, spoke to supporters at a rally yesterday in Phoenix.
Let's make sure this administration knows that they have our support to do whatever is necessary, and that we are not going to ever be quiet until she's home safely.
Brittney Griner faces up to 10 years in Russian prison if convicted of large-scale transportation of drugs. Polling shows the president's approval rating is in the mid-30s as the midterm elections approach. Fox's Peter Ducey.
NBC is now quoting an anonymous Democratic lawmaker as saying the following: it's almost like he's hiding. He has the bully pulpit, and he's either hiding behind it or under it. I don't know where he is. President Biden said recently he thinks he's done a lot. The problem has just been communicating everything that they've done. And so that could have something to do with the communications director leaving.
The White House communications director, Kate Bedingfield, is expected to leave her position before the midterms. This follows the departure of former White House press secretary Jen Psaki and other press aides. America's listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh, now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keep an eye out for a couple of scattered thunderstorms. Otherwise, though, partly sunny, hot and humid, 98 for the high. But get under a storm, a quick, brief cool down into the 70s. That rain, cooled air. Tonight, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms. A couple could be strong. 75 Friday, scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Otherwise, hot and humid. And again, a couple could be on the strong side Friday, 95. It's better for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show, weekdays 5 to 9.
In terms of favorability ratings, Donald Trump comes in at 42%, which puts him at the top of all of these people. So it goes Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders.
I can see that.
Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton is tied with Ron DeSantis.
Every weekday starting at 5. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years. Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 3 times a week. Yes, 3 times every weekend. Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101, now 3 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Nature Valley has helped restore access to 10,000 miles of national park trails and counting, because everyone deserves to experience what's out there. Head over to your local park to see for yourself. Nature Valley, life happens out there.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The polls show that Americans seem to be losing confidence in the country. A new Gallup poll shows that just 38% of U.S. adults say they are extremely proud to be American. That's the lowest point of the extremely proud rating since Gallup started asking that question back in 2001. The same poll shows the confidence in major institutions at the lowest point since they've been asking the questions. A Monmouth University poll found that 88% of Americans say the country is heading in the wrong direction.
So there you have CNN reporting on a little bit of disdain for the current situation that Americans are living right now in the United States of America. And much to Ryan Wiggins' favor here, we're going to go to 538. Have you looked at this, Ryan? Have you seen the 538 release today on the 2022 elections?
Oh, I don't know if I've seen it today. I follow that pretty closely,
No.
Oh,
Stop
okay, all right. Go ahead.
Just listen. Listen like you're one of the people. Not like you're in the room with me, with inside in the know.
I did not just type that in. I'm just going to stand
here.
here.
You're still typing.
I know.
You're typing right now. Stop it, Captain
I've stopped now.
All right. Fair enough. But you love polls, and you stop it,
okay,
Ryan. Put your hands up in the air so that I can see them. There you go. Now you're leave them like that for the next 12 minutes. 538 is would you say it's a fairly down the middle
no
reaction to, would you call it?
Well, I would say 538 generally does a fair job of presenting, everything, but Nate Silver, who runs 538, is very left.
But as somebody who is very left, I think that he provides information
in
a way that is consumable for you to be not very far on the left and take it for what it is, statistics and so on and so forth. Regardless, here is what they're saying right now. This is updated 3 hours ago. It's on 538.com. For the Senate right now, Republicans win 53 seats in the Senate. That's where it's trending right now, 53-47. Does that make your heart sing just a wee little bit? I mean, when we think about the balance of the Senate right now, 50-50, and then you go back and you think about how we got to 50-50 in Georgia, and you think about how we had 2 special elections that were taking place in Georgia in the midst of all of the stuff that was going on with the Trump count. Are you looking at this online?
Yeah, I am.
Now? I know you are. When you think about how those 2 senators got elected in Georgia, 2 Democrats got elected in Georgia to make it the 50-50 split, which then, of course, the tiebreaker goes to the vice president, who's in charge of the Senate, and that, of course, is Kamala Harris. Either one of those seats in Georgia, doesn't matter who it was, going to the Republicans, the GOP, massive difference in what takes place in the last year and a half, 2 years, or at least the first 2 years of the Biden presidency. So you have a situation here where it says 53 seats right now favored for the Republicans. That could totally change a million different ways. It could get stronger, it could get weaker. It's not a good landscape in 2022 for senatorial Republicans. I think there's a significant amount of Republicans who are up, seats that are currently held by Republicans compared to Democrats. Would you say that's correct, Ryan? I mean, have you studied the layout in the Senate a whole lot?
I have. I've studied it quite a bit. And right now, yeah, it looks like there's really only about 6 or 7 states that will decide this. I mean, I guess, if you include Illinois, you could add some more, but
Illinois was listed as soundly blue.
Yeah.
Tammy Duckworth seems to be safe, according to 538. We had Robert C. Cahaley from the Trafalgar Group on the Friday before I left for vacation, so 2 Fridays ago, and he was talking about the governor's race in the state of Illinois, and he projected Darren Bailey to have a sound win in that Republican governor primary. He was right about that. And the one other little tidbit that he threw in there is that they also polled the Illinois Senate seat race. And he told me, and I mean, like, this about knocked me off my chair. If you went back and watched the YouTube live video of me doing this interview, I was like throwing fist pumps in the air when he was saying this, because I was totally shocked. And usually I know the answers to the questions, or at least I know the direction they're going to take the answers to the questions that I'm asking. He said that he doesn't believe Tammy Duckworth's Senate seat in the state of Illinois is a safe one. And he was saying that Dick Durbin is an entirely different situation. Dick Durbin is much more beloved in the state of Illinois than Tammy Duckworth, and she is not as safe as Tammy Duckworth might think she is, or as Illinois Democrats might think that she is. That's how this election right now is trending. Well, 53 Republican seats in the United States Senate absolutely does not include a Republican seat in the state of Illinois. It does, however, include a Republican seat in the state of Missouri, and that primary, of course, coming up August 2nd. I just saw last night as well that the Arizona primary is also August 2nd. That's going to be a pretty wild and crazy night, Ryan.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. I mean, obviously, we'll be watching Missouri closely, but Arizona's got a lot to say in terms of not only their governor, because Carrie Lake, she makes a lot of waves, and she looks to be the front runner for governor there. Even in the general, she looks to be the front runner. But their Senate seat is very, very much in question. That's why when you're talking about Nate Silver, you're talking about 538, saying that Republicans would get a 53-seat majority, that would have to include Arizona, which would probably include Blake Masters, who's leading that race, winning the general, which would be a big shock, because right now Mark Kelly's winning in polls.
58 over 58 to 42, Mark Kelly, the Democrat, over Blake Masters, according to this 538 prediction. And Arizona is marked as a toss-up. Missouri is marked as an Eric Greitens chance of winning over Lucas. Is it Kuntz? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
I hope I am. The Democrat, 94 to 6. So, if you compare what 538 is putting out there, saying Eric Greitens, he's a likely Republican win in the state of Missouri. I believe he's leading polls in the Missouri Senate race right now. Compare that to what Cahaley and Trafalgar Group has studied, suggests that if Greitens is to win that senatorial primary in Missouri, that it is not as secure and safe as a insert Republican candidate here race would be in Missouri.
It has gotten even trickier now, too, with this independent guy, John Wood. I hope I'm getting his first name right. I always forget what his first name is. Somebody that none of us knew in Missouri is entering as an independent candidate. Now, he might be a complete non-factor, but the reason people are saying that he might be a factor is that he's running as a conservative independent, and he's going to have a lot of money behind him. You're going to hear ads for this guy. So if he's able to peel off enough of the vote, that could give the seat to the Democrats, oddly, in a close race. So it becomes even more contentious.
Action.
Yes.
Yeah. Georgia's still listed at 538 as a toss-up, with Herschel Walker having a slight edge over Raphael Warnock, who is the incumbent there in Georgia. So looking at this map, it's kind of interesting to see how this is listed out. Lisa Murkowski is listed as the frontrunner winning candidate, solid Republican. I think didn't she just come out and say she might not win re-election, or was that Collins in Maine? It seems like
I think Murkowski did say that. Yeah.
I think because she's being critical of the Dobbs decision. I think she has obviously been consistently a pro-choice messaging Republican elected in Alaska. So we'll see how that shakes out. So regardless, though, I'll take 51 seats in the Senate. 53 seats gives me a little bit of room to exhale, and hopefully Republicans have what it takes to continue to push in that direction. Republicans are favored to win the House. Let's see here. It says this is from 538 and just kind of explains what they have the layout here. It says the deluxe version of our model simulates the election 40,000 times to see who wins most often. The sample of 100 outcomes gives you an idea of the range of scenarios the model considers possible. So when they boil that down to 100 times, 86 out of 100 times the Republican wins in these races. So how is this majority going to shake out? It's tough to tell at this point. But of course, the Republicans are looking very much so like they are going to have a solid majority. Average seats controlled by the party right now, the estimate is 236 seats by the Republican, over 199 for the Democrats, which is a solid majority. I mean, that's one where you can have a few Adam Kinzingers who won't be, but Adam Kinzinger sprinkled in the mix, and you still get a solid Republican responsibility coming out of the House.
Yeah,
that makes me feel a little bit better.
Right. Well, the House, I think I'm not going to say anything's a guarantee, but the House looks pretty good. It's the Senate is the big question. Because if the House is even just 5 seats and you got a couple of, middling people in there, it's no big deal. You need the majority, and you can do all the investigations and everything they're going to be doing. But it's the Senate that is the big key. Currently, of course, 50-50, and a lot of seats right now that are in very, very much battleground states coming up in this election, which is why hearing this, I'm shocked. I mean, we talked about love language yesterday, Annie. You're speaking my love language right now. You're talking
I
about
have really bad news for you later in the show. You guys listen to 2:30, and I'm going to give him devastating news.
But this is really surprising to me that I didn't see this morning, because you're talking about states that 538 is saying that Republicans then would be likely to win. And I'm taking a guess here because I'm looking at their overall results, but I know the states that they must be talking about. North Carolina, probably pretty safe. Wisconsin, I would say probably pretty safe. Arizona is a big question right now because Mark Kelly is actually fairly popular for some reason. And then Nevada, Georgia, Pennsylvania all have to be a part of that conversation. And all the polling I'm seeing, now keep in mind, the polling I'm seeing is historically unreliable polling. So when you talk about good polling, like you mentioned Trafalgar, and they're saying maybe Illinois is in play, well, that's a big deal because then, maybe you could see, a 54 seat or even more swing. And if you start to talk that, then you're talking about almost a historic wave election. And that would carry over to the House in general, too, which I think they're actually under polling for the House if they're saying only about 30 something seats ahead there. But all good news. All good news.
Why I hate polls.
Yeah.
Because and a complete and total citation of all the polling that you've been looking at, which has been completely worthless in the past.
Yeah.
Which is the way that's pretty much the way everybody is consuming polls, because these people have been so wrong so consistently. What they are correct about is their consistency of being incorrect. However, I will say when you look at something like 538 and you see a polling entity that does have a tendency, I consider them to be like on the spectrum of left to right. I feel like this type of statistical information that is provided to you will be somewhere at least with one toe in the water of moderate. It's not like totally off to the fringe. However, I will tell you right now that they have Darren Bailey as a 1 in 100 chance to win.
Oh, no.
1 in 100. So take that for what it's worth. And it'll be interesting. Let's mark it down. July 7th, 2022, 124 days away from this election from happening. Let's see if he gets up over 10, and then we'll see what happens in the actual election. This just reported James Caan dies at 82.
Oh,
James Caan is, if you're not familiar with James, everybody knows who James Caan is, but if you're not familiar, I know him most from Elf as Buddy the Elf's dad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Most people probably Godfather, but you, Buddy the Elf.
I've never seen Godfather.
Really?
Or any of them, but I've been told that they're worth watching.
I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, well, the first one's great. The second one I barely remember, and the third one everybody says just skip it. So
I thought that the second one was supposed to, or I thought one of the sequels was supposed to potentially be better.
No, they
than
say
the
Godfather
first one.
2 is better. It's been so long
Just
since
you.
I've seen it. I don't remember it. But the
Oh,
first one is
okay.
great.
Well,
know that.
unfortunately, James Caan passes away at 82. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to get a special visit again with our friend Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. He's a national security and foreign policy expert. We spent a lot of time on Tuesday with our normal conversation with Jim Carafano talking about national security. But boy, like, Brian, are you following the Boris Johnson saga? Are
Somewhat.
you into this?
I mean, a little.
I'm interested anytime a world leader steps down. Like, tell me more about this. Are you following the Dutch farmer protest?
Yes.
Have you paid any attention to that? We've even got people messaging the show saying, can you please talk about this? What is going on there? And most of all, Ryan demanded that we talk more about Brittney Griner on this show. So we're going to get Jim Carafano on here to discuss that. And one more thing. What the hell is President Biden doing releasing our oil to China? What's going on? It makes no sense. It requires a second Jim Carafano visit this week, and we'll have that in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is ANN, I-E, Frey Show, The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The candidates are set in Illinois. Next up, the Missouri primary on August 2nd.
We know what the mission is.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
This is Judge Mike Carter, Republican candidate for state senate in the new 10th district. Whether you're from Lincoln, Pike, Montgomery, Callaway, or St. Charles County, we all want to safeguard our freedom. We don't need Washington making personal decisions about health or education for our families or children. I believe in personal freedom and believe that our rights are enshrined in the United States Constitution and not at the whim of unelected bureaucrats. I'll put my knowledge and experience to work for you, protecting those rights, opposing tax hikes, keeping families safe by opposing those who want to defund the police, making small businesses and family farms a priority, and safeguarding our Second Amendment. I'm running to bring decision-making back where it belongs, with we the people. I hope you'll take the time to go to MikeCarter.com to learn more about what I want to do for you. I'm Mike Carter, and I hope to earn your vote to be your next Republican state senator, paid for by Team Mike Carter.
So Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, the people who the Frey family certainly do trust for our orthodontic care. I want to talk to you about these people who have an office in Columbia, Illinois, also in Waterloo. It's easy to get to from both sides of the river, and people do make this a destination for orthodontic care. Dr. Jody has a high priority placed right on making sure that you have the best customer service, and you also get to go in there and get the access to the best technology in orthodontic care around. And Dr. Jody, when she works with you, my husband said this, I've told this story before, but I think it's such a good assessment of the experience. When he took my oldest son, my son and my oldest daughter to get their orthodontic checkup, to get their assessment, he walked out and he goes, Dr. Jody's our kind of people. And he just really appreciated the straight shooting messaging that she provided, giving us the information we needed and also telling us, you know what, you don't even really need to do anything about this right now. You might not need to do anything about it in the future. Giving us that honest assessment of the orthodontic care that our kids would need made me trust her even more. She's worked with many people in my family, and I want you to give her a try as well. 618-400-0900, 618-400-0900, the very best in orthodontic care at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics. Online at HensherJohnsonOrtho.com.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call Call the Land Story Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work? Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore. Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app? Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas. Does that actually add up to anything? I'll make around $200. Wow, that's serious cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PROFIT for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PROFIT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROFIT for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PROFIT for a $5 bonus.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
ChevroletTrade.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Good afternoon. Thank you. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place.
So Boris Johnson stepping down, I don't really, I'm going to be honest, this is why we're going to have Jim Carafano on in a second here. I don't really understand the whole structure of the United Kingdom versus the countries that make up the United Kingdom and what the prime minister does and what the monarchy does, blah, blah, blah. But I do know something. Anytime I hear anybody who sounds British say something, it just sounds way more intellectual than anything that I have ever said in my entire life. And I worry that when British people hear American people say anything, it has the opposite effect. Is that possible? Is that likely?
I worry that when we finally meet aliens, that they won't speak the Queen's English.
Let's think about that for a second. If the aliens are going to land, where do we want them to land on the face of the earth to get the best impression?
Alabama.
Because it might,
Florida.
It might be the British. It might be the British and their fancy way of speaking.
I don't know. I think
Australia's pretty cool.
Just have them drop. No, I don't know about Australia. They had a lot of weird lockdowns.
And it's a prison colony. So
we're talking. Hey, those are my ancestors. Knock it off. That's the coolest part of me. We're talking very first impressions. So completely profiling people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You land and you get there and you go, oh, this place is sweet. Or you go, nope. And then you're on. I mean, Australia can be cool because it's cool people, but they have really, really big spiders.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably going to land there and you get bit by a brown snake or one of their like redback spiders or something, and
punched by a kangaroo,
kicked by a kangaroo and die. So
we need to stop giving the kangaroos boxing gloves. I think you might be right about
invasion.
What about Scotland? I mean, let's compromise if it's not going to be proper England.
Do we want them to stay or do we want them to go? I think that's the question.
That's a very good question.
Because my initial question was, what provides the best of us? Here is humanity. Here's the best of humanity on first blush. Scotland would be a very good choice for that.
Yeah, because I've heard that they're very friendly. Yeah,
and it's just beautiful, and they do sound sweet too.
How about let's all compromise and say Roswell. Because
welcome home.
A lot of people will be waiting for that there, and they'll have a great reception when they get there.
I watched on Monday. I watched Independence Day. on TNT, it included a bunch of scenes that aren't actually in the real movie.
Oh, I saw that you tweeted that. Now I want to know what the scenes are. What were the scenes?
There was one. Okay, so Randy Quaid, his family I love Randy Quaid.
Mm-hmm.
But his family, he's got 3 kids, I think, and one of them is the girl. There's 2 boys, and the one son is the older one who goes and tells him, "You're in the wrong field," and do you know who I'm talking about? And then when the other son shows up, he always kind of appears to be kind of sickly. And like there's one point where he comes out of their mobile home and he's like, "I'm going to get sick, Dad." And then he goes out and he throws up on the side of the road, and the older brother comes out to help him. Do you remember that scene?
Man, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, I
now.
remember that one.
You do, Brad?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the part that I saw was there's this like whole thing about the younger son actually having some sort of sickness and needing a medicine, and concern about him being able to get his medicine. And the dad Randy Quaid's not really their dad. At one point he said something, Randy Quaid says something about being the dad, and he's like, "You only married my mom." And I was like, what is this? This is not in the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where did this all come from? And there were multiple times throughout the course of watching this film where they inserted things. So I Googled it once, and it was listed in Independence Day deleted scenes. Can you just put those deleted scenes in a made-for-TV movie? I didn't know you could do that.
I think when they do that, they're doing it for one of 2 reasons, maybe both. One is that they know that everybody in a movie like that everybody's seen 1,000 times. They figure, well, let's throw some additional stuff in there to make people talk about it, which is exactly what we're doing. And then second, they do it for time, because sometimes you have to hit a certain length and you want time, a certain time between each break. And sometimes they have to pad a certain area more than another, and they have to remove stuff. So that's a reason when it's on TV anyway.
It was super distracting. That movie holds up though. The first Independence Day, when you watch that, I mean, I would assume if I put the DVD in and watched the DVD the way it was intended for the theater, it still holds up. Are you guys fans?
Yes.
Bill Pullman,
it's just been a long time since I've
our
seen
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. "Hello, boys. I'm back." Best line in the movie.
There's a lot of one-liners in
My
that.
generation.
That's
yours. They're all Randy Quaid.
That's
Almost.
true. Well, Will Smith doesn't. He
Yeah,
had a couple in there.
when he punches that alien as he's
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Yes.
And then he smokes a cigar, says, "Nah, that's what I call a close encounter."
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And Good Morning Dave is one from isn't that Close Encounters also, or that's something else? Good Morning Dave.
That's
the computer
2001:
says.
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. It was weird also watching that movie and seeing Will Smith as like the Will Smith that we knew, and thinking about Will Smith, like, is he still at the Taj Mahal in India finding himself right now? Where is Will Smith right now? I guess we just don't care about that anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right. We don't. I didn't even know he's at the Taj Mahal. Is he going to soul seeking right now?
It was like a couple weeks maybe after the Oscars slap that he like vacated the United States of America, and he went to India, and he was traveling around there, and then they showed him at the Taj Mahal, and he was just, I think he was just like sitting meditating, and I'm like, that should fix it. That should solve your problems.
Wouldn't that be weird to be that big of a celebrity that no matter where you go in the entire world, there's probably nowhere you can go that somebody doesn't know who you are?
Yeah, that's true. Which, I mean, I would understand why you would want to leave and pull yourself out of, because you can't walk around the United States of America and be Will Smith and not go everywhere and be like, "Hey, it's Will Smith," and be asked in that moment by somebody who wants to know more information about why'd you slap Chris Rock. That's going to happen every single place you go. So I guess you do go to another country. What I don't understand is if you're going there to try to get away, why are you documenting it so that the Americans at home can still see what you're doing to try to recoup from getting away from the Americans at home who want to know more about why you slapped Chris Rock?
Yeah. Brian on the chat says they should edit the movie now when they play it on TV to when Will Smith hits the alien to have him say, "Get my wife's name out your mouth."
That's got to happen by the end of the show. Somebody with some skills make that happen. I would love to see that. Well, we're working on trying to connect with Jim Carafano. We got a whole bunch of issues to talk to him about. And, I'm looking at a lot of these foreign policy situations taking place. And one of the ones that is really just absolutely blowing my mind is the realization that we have released oil from our reserves that we're sending to China. Have you seen this story, Brad and Ryan? Have you
I have
taken
seen
in
it.
any of this insanity?
I've
I mean, how
seen
does
it.
that make you feel?
Angry. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then like you got Brian D saying that like the strategic release of the petroleum, the release of the strategic petroleum reserves is the sole reason gas prices aren't higher. And it's like, that doesn't matter if you're sending it to China.
They need us to be really dumb. And I guess some of us are. But when you take in the things that this administration continues to say over and over and over again, I mean, Brad, let's listen to a couple of these clips from his speech yesterday. We can start with cut number 4. Americans are trying to go through and live their lives, and they don't really want to be paying attention to what it is that, you know, the who's, the what's, and the whys, and the hows of how this stuff gets bad. They just want it to get fixed. But Biden, who is the guy in charge, he has the power in the White House. He has Democrats in the Congress that can pass laws, in theory, if they're good laws, and get it to the point where it can be signed on his desk. Listen to cut 4 here of what he said yesterday about.
Well, Republicans do nothing to obstruct our efforts to lower your gas taxes. I propose that. I've asked the Congress to eliminate the federal gas tax for the next, as long as this crisis goes on. Lower food prices, lower healthcare costs. Hopefully soon, lower your prescription drug costs. By the way, you got a Republican leader in the United States Senate.
Okay.
What? What? I mean, what? What is he even talking about? And you can't even deliver his message with some sort of certainty. The interesting part here is where he was talking about removing the federal gas tax. He said for the next, and then he paused himself for however long it needs to be. I don't remember what the direct quote was, but he couldn't even give a time frame as to how long this was going to be necessary in order to alleviate the pain that Americans are feeling at the pump right now. And then, of course, he went to one of his favorite things that he likes to tout, which is the jobs. And let's go to cut number 5 there and listen to what he has to say about his administration and its strengths.
I remember what the economy was like when I was elected, a country in a pandemic with no real plans how to get out of it. Millions of people out of their jobs. Families and cars, remember, backed up for literally miles, waiting for a box of food to be put in their trunk. Just a box of food to be put in their trunk because they didn't have enough to eat. Previous administration lost more jobs in its watch than any administration since Herbert Hoover. That's a fact. All based on failed trickle-down economics that benefit the wealthiest Americans and hit the middle class and working people the hardest.
So times were not as nearly as bad as they could have been post-pandemic when Trump was still in office. Biden gets into office. Everything goes to pot. He makes his day one, number one priority, stopping the Keystone Pipeline. He says he's going to attack the oil industry. He successfully does. Gas prices go through the roof. He releases our oil reserves. He gives them to China, and we're supposed to look at the Republicans to blame. Jim Carafano probably has something to say about that. We've got several issues I want to get to here with Jim Carafano, national security, foreign policy expert with the Heritage Foundation, a 2-time guest this week on the Annie Frey Show. Welcome back to the show, Jim. Thanks for your time today.
So I was trying to think of the appropriate metaphor. So not that I'm a Stephen King fan, because after the early days I'm not, but okay, there was one called The Dome, right? So this dome, this impenetrable dome just appeared. And it's a perfect metaphor because when people say, like, who is Biden talking to? I'm having a conversation we're talking about China policy, and like, who are these people talking to? What they're saying is demonstrably false, misdirections or out and out lies, which are completely unconvincing. They're unconvincing to American citizens. You don't believe me? Just look at the poll numbers. They're unconvincing to our allies. They're unconvincing to our enemies. And who are they talking to? And the answer is they're talking to themselves. Because they're like the guys in the dome. They've constructed a bubble to hide them from reality. And they just talk into the bubble, and it just echoes back what they want to believe. And that's how they get through day to day. They just don't believe the reality of what's going on in the world, but they believe their own rhetoric. And they just convince themselves that they're right. To argue that as you are the president of the United States, you have working majorities in both houses of Congress. You've been able to push through something like $5 trillion in spending. And the reason why everything's bad and nothing can get done is because of Republicans. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's absurd. And Americans see right through that. Tell me a little bit, Jim, about what is this releasing of this oil of our strategic reserves and having it funnel to China? What's going on with that?
Well, the way that system works is essentially the release of the reserves. It puts the oil on the market, and then the market, sells the oil wherever it wants. The whole idea behind having a strategic petroleum reserve is a national security argument, and literally it's designed for the times like, dude, we can't get oil for our ships and airplanes, or to feed American citizens, and it was designed essentially to provide energy when it just wasn't available on the market. It was never ever designed to swing market prices. It just never works that way. So first of all, oh my God, the amount is so minuscule that it went to China. It's like, okay, it went to China. But the notion that somehow that was going to reduce prices to begin with was a joke. So the policy was a joke at the front end. And the fact that essentially we've taken oil, which by the way, we bought it below market value. And when we replenish it, we're going to have to pay a lot of money for that. And essentially, we gave basically, subsidized U.S. government oil to that was just icing on the cake of stupid. But
Jim,
yeah, it was an unbelievably stupid policy. And then to make sure everybody really understood how unbelievably stupid it was, it didn't even go in American gas tanks.
Yeah, it is absurd. And it's absurdity is what we can predict now from this administration. I do want to ask you about Boris Johnson. And I think a lot of people are seeing Boris Johnson's resignation this morning. And if you're like me, it's like that piques your interest, but you don't really understand how it got to be to this point where you have a world leader stepping down. What does this mean in the structure of the United Kingdom? And what does this mean for America?
Well, this could be quite significant. I mean, the Conservative Party in the UK is kind of like the Republicans in the United States. It's not a party all of one mind. So there are many people, leaders in the Conservative Party, who don't have wild hair like Boris, but they're very strong conservatives. They're in the tradition of Margaret Thatcher. They would be strong American allies. They'd be tough on the Russians. They'd be good on Ukraine. There isn't an obvious successor, which means that you could wind up getting the Bernie Sanders of the Conservative Party, and in the end, the Liberals and Labour could come back and take government. They could try to reverse Brexit, but all the things that have made the UK a strong partner for the United States, being tough on Ukraine, being tough on NATO, tough with Europeans because they're out of the EU, really almost pushing the Americans to be more America than the Americans, that could vanish, and that would be really unhelpful. You could get a very leftist guy. You could wind up with a very leftist government in the UK, which ironically the Biden administration would be happy. But the problem is that's the problem, is they'd be happy. So, I mean, reminds me a lot of, I had a discussion with a lot of Germans, and they were saying, okay, yeah, we screwed up everything. Nord Stream 2, the Russians, and we got everything wrong. And we go, the good news is we're right in sync with the Biden administration. And I'm going, dude, that's not good news. That's terrible news. Because this administration is feckless and leads from behind and will demand nothing of you. They're your own worst enemies. They're like the coach that wants to sit in the locker room and smoke and drink beers and really doesn't care if you guys go out and train or not. So, the Biden administration is the enabler for lazy, feckless leftist governments. And so if the UK winds up with a lazy, feckless government, they're going to go, oh, we're right in line with Joe Biden. Aren't we great allies? And that's not going to be good at all. Look, this is, and as bad as it is in Europe, it's worse in Latin America. We have elected, well, we haven't elected anybody, a whole series of leftist governments have come to power in Latin America, largely because of activist action from international agitators that have followed the BLM model and created these populist things, and then got governments voted out of power and brought in these kind of leftist yahoos from the old days, the old Marxists. And so you see leftist governments in Colombia, and now we might have one in Brazil and Mexico. What is the response to this administration? Oh, well, these guys can't be at all bad because they're leftists. They're like us. They're progressives. And then these people are the most virulent anti-American people you could possibly imagine. And they want to do business with the Chinese and the Russians. And so one of the metrics of success for this government is if you are a leftist progressive government in the world, doesn't matter if you're anti-American, doesn't matter if you're completely useless, doesn't matter if you're in bed with the Chinese or the Russians, you can't be at all bad because you're like us, you're like leftists, and you know, you wear Che Guevara t-shirts and you think Marx isn't really all that a bad guy after all.
Yeah, it's disturbing. And it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. And I'll be leaning on you to tell us how it's going to affect, especially a relationship with our country where you have an administration that seems to be faltering quite a bit. I don't have a lot of time left, but I have two subjects that I did want you to touch on while you're here with us. The first is the Dutch farmer protests, watching some of the visuals coming out of these farmers that are protesting. It's quite something. And the second is Brittney Griner. I'll let you take those two issues and talk about them however you like.
Yeah, well, let me do let me just on the last thing, just very quickly. We need strong allies more than ever, because the reality is that the only place where America is doing good stuff in the world today is where our allies shame, embarrass, and drag the Biden administration into doing things that are actually in America's interest. But let me touch on the Dutch thing because it's really important, because those Dutch protests, that is the look how smart and right Jim Carafano was demonstration.
Fantastic.
No, because I said that what Ukraine had demonstrated was the hypocrisy that this green agenda is compatible with Europeans having safe, reliable, dependable energy. That there is an inescapable tension between this vision of green transformation that John Kerry and all the leftists in Europe have, and the reality of people needing food on the table and gas in their cars and to be able to heat their homes, and essentially abolish the Dutch farming industry because they're not green enough. And the people in the Netherlands just said, "You guys are nuts." And this is the wave of the future. We're going to see more and more and more of this, because every time John Kerry talks about this green transition, people are going to talk about, "I'm starving. I have no gas. I can't heat my home. I can't feed my children. You are destroying. You're destroying the planet Earth. You're not saving it." Mm-hmm. So this is the shape of things to come, my friend.
Do you believe that Americans should be worried about food shortages in the future?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the global market and the power of the American consumer and the American market is going to keep the United States from having real issues. But I do believe other people can have real issues. And more importantly, what's going to happen, and we're already seeing this, the Russians and the Chinese and other leftists are using this to create political unrest to then overthrow legitimate governments. We're already seeing it happen in Africa. We're already seeing it happen in other places. The Russians are paying people in Africa to protest against the Europeans, saying, "Oh, these food shortages are because of European sanctions on Russia, and it's really the Europeans' fault." So it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get uglier if, when we get to the fall and the Ukrainian harvest comes in, if the Ukrainians can't figure out by way to export that harvest, is going to get even worse. Look, it's going to be a long, tough winter, and we're going to see in Europe, definitely in Latin America, and more in Africa, we're going to see more public unrest. And then behind the scenes, we're going to see people like China and Russia and George Soros throwing money around to throw gasoline on the fire to make it worse.
Man, Jim Carafano, thank you for the extra time this week. We appreciate it, as always.
You bet. Anyway, I'm just standing here in the middle of Bucharest. What else do I have to do?
Oh, I am sitting in my basement. So that your situation is way cooler than mine.
Bucharest is way. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Of course. We'll do it again next week. Thank you so much. Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation, national security and foreign policy expert, our friend here on our show and on the station, a longtime contributor, a special guest here on 97.1. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America, once again, gets bumped to later in the show. Ryan, this is not personal. I have nothing to do with this. We have the guest books. Brad checked the times, right?
It's personal. I did it on purpose.
Oh,
Take
okay.
that, Ryan.
It wasn't personal for me. You guys can sort this out here on the break, but you want to give us a little tease as to what Wiggins America will be about when we get to it?
Yeah, it's actually a few different examples of elitism and not following your own rules, which kind of hits close to home in some ways.
Yeah, it gets under your skin. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side of this short break. And I'll tell you about the YouTube live chat poll when we come back. Don't go away.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is Judge Mike Carter. As the judge for Wentzville and an attorney, I've had the honor of working with Lincoln County Prosecutor Mike Wood and St. Charles Prosecutor Tim Lomar. We all share a great respect for the rule of law and keeping our families and communities safe. Cori Bush, AOC, and the others demanding to defund the police don't have a clue. As your next Republican state senator, I'll oppose those who want to defund our police and tie the hands of our law enforcement. As a judge, I know firsthand how dedicated our law enforcement professionals are. Our police and sheriff's deputies put their lives on the line every day to keep our families and communities safe. They will know that as your state senator, Mike Carter has their back. I'll also protect our Second Amendment rights and see that strong laws are in place to dissuade those who think they can come here from St. Louis or elsewhere to break in your car or home. I'm Mike Carter, and I want to earn your vote to be your next Republican state senator. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. Paid for by Team Mike Carter.
You know, the thing that I really appreciate about Lakeside, especially having met with them and sat down with the people on their staff, is how well they are prepared to give you top-notch customer service. When you come in to talk to them about the redesign or the finishing of your basement and you have a dream, you have this thought and this idea in your head, and maybe it's taken shape over the course of years of thinking about it, and now happens to be the right time for you to pursue this. And you go in there, they are going to use all of their expertise, their years and years and years of being in the business to make sure that your dream becomes a reality, that it becomes a part of your home, the place that you get to call your very own and enjoy each and every time you walk into it. And they know that going through some sort of home renovation can sometimes be stressful, and they take it upon themselves to remove as much of that stress as they possibly can from the whole process by showing up on time. These are basic things, but not everybody does it. Showing up on time to the job, making sure they clean up each and every time that they are on the job site when they leave, and respecting your space and beautifying it and transforming it into the dream that you have had for your master bathroom, for your master bedroom, for a room addition. Maybe it's a 3-season room that you want to add on. Maybe it's James Hardie siding or Infinity windows from Marvin Fiberglass, which are exclusive to Lakeside Renovation and Design. You can call them at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000, and talk to them about scheduling an appointment today. All the information online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The faster we're falling, we're stopping and stalling, we're running in circles.
This is ANN IE Frey Show, the Annie Frey Show.
Whose brainchild is that?
You know what? That was actually Brad.
Brad?
No kidding.
And you went with it.
I went with it.
Is that Big Voice Guy, or is that somebody who's laying around the radio station?
No, that's the guy.
This is ANN.
This is ANN IE.
I put that in the chat the other day. This is a little inside baseball for those of you listening. I put that in the private chat yesterday, and Annie LOL'd in the private chat, which means that it was pretty funny because usually she doesn't react. And I was like, you know what, Ryan? Make that happen.
I'm doing a lot of things at one time. It was probably during the show.
Well, that's what he's saying, is that if you had the time to say, okay, that was pretty funny, then it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I got a little defensive there, but I just want you to know that if you said usually she doesn't react, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it.
No, not at all. I understand that.
She just goes, ugh.
Yeah. She usually rolls her eyes.
Message.
She sends the eye roll emoji, and
Great joke.
I even said to my husband yesterday, I don't remember which GIF it was you sent me, but I'm like, Brad's really good at GIFs. And I showed him one that you sent me. I don't remember what it was. Let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. Wiggins America usually right now, but we went long with Jim Carafano because we connected to him late. I think you want to do Wiggins America 125 or 145? Your choice, Ryan.
I'll bring, if you want to do 125, I actually want to bring almost like a potpourri of different stories in the same vein. So
I'm not a fan of the word potpourri.
Okay. How about variety?
What if we called it potpourri?
What if we called it smelly flowers?
Smelly flowers. Yes. I'd like to bring
I've got kind of a smelly flowers of topics.
Did you buy your wife flowers?
Doggone it. I should have said flowers.
Is that a no?
I can't really confirm or deny. You're just going to have to judge by what I just said.
I'm pretty sure I am aware that you did not, but you'll get them tonight. It'll be
no, of course I will.
Yeah, he can't not get them now.
Okay,
That's
so
2 days in a row.
125 Wiggins America, and if you were expecting to hear that now, we were pushing it to 125 because we had to go a little late there with Jim Carafano. Today's YouTube live chat poll regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency: what should President Biden do? Finish his term, step down, or be removed? You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and in the live chat of the live video where you can watch the show taking place right now, you can vote. You can comment if you like. We star and flag those comments, and we read several of them at the end of the show at 2:45 when we give the results of the poll. I'm not going to ask you what your answers are right now, but do you, Ryan, have a strong feeling about this poll question today? An obvious answer to yourself, or not really?
What should he do and what will he do are different things. I would say
What should
he do? He should step down.
Step down, Brad?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Ryan there. I think it'll be for medical reasons, though.
You said that. You've been consistent on that. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. We want to know what you think, and you can do that right there. When we come back, our buddy Tyrus. Don't go away.
We've all done it or used to do it. Use the same passwords at work as we have for online shopping, Netflix, news sites, etc. But here's the problem. Those sites are often compromised, and those stored credentials are exposed, shared, and sold on the dark web. My hope is your users are not using the same work passwords for those sites as they use for work. But in reality, some of them are, because let's face it, remembering one password is a lot easier than remembering all of them. Hackers then use those passwords, guess the login, and voila, you get ransomware. This is how bad actors get into networks. Not by hacking their way through your firewall, but by buying usernames and passwords off the dark web. One of our favorite parlor tricks is telling someone their super secret password during a meeting. It looks like magic, but actually it's been exposed in some obscure website breach. The good news is Acropolis is here and we can help. I know IT isn't how most of you want to spend your day, but from one business owner to another, you need to feel comfortable that these areas are protected and in place now more than ever. If you aren't satisfied with what you find, we can help. Visit us on the web at acropolistech.com and let's start a conversation.
Judge Mike Carter. And just like you, I've been working in the real world for a good long time. I remember bussing tables back in 1986, driving Domino pizza deliveries. I was a UPS package car driver. Then I got my license in real estate in 1990. Been doing that for a good long time as a broker and salesperson. And I started my law firm in 2004 and been doing that for 18 years, making sure paychecks cash and people have 401ks. We could use a lot more real world in Washington, D.C., and especially Jeff City here in Missouri. Much like President Trump when he came into D.C. and was cleaning up the swamp, a lot of it had to do with the fact that he had been thrashing around in the real world for a very long time. I've dealt with bureaucrats and red tape and the things that get in the way for people to be successful in their jobs and their businesses. And I can tell you down in Jeff City, there will be no voice louder than mine with the experience that I bring to bear on what we need for the citizens of the state of Missouri. I'd like you to go to MikeCarter.com and check this out. Paid for by Team Mike Carter, Mike Carter Treasurer.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A guilty plea from WNBA player Brittney Griner. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. The basketball player accused of having cannabis oil in her luggage.
Brittney Griner told a judge in a Russian court, "I'd like to plead guilty, Your Honor, but there was no intent." The two-time U.S. Olympic basketball gold medalist was detained at an airport outside Moscow February 17th, alleged to have transported 2 vape cartridges in her luggage that contain hash oil for personal use, which is illegal in Russia. Griner told the judge, "I didn't want to break the law." An all-star every year since she entered the WNBA in 2013, the 31-year-old Phoenix Mercury star was traveling to Russia to play basketball, as she has for years, to help supplement her WNBA salary. Facing up to 10 years in prison, Griner told the judge, "I'd like to give my testimony. I need time to prepare." Next court date, next Thursday, July 14th. Jared Max, Fox News.
The UK is searching for a new leader after Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced he's stepping down.
The Conservatives have to pick a new leader who would become the Prime Minister, but that could take a few months. There is no clear-cut replacement for Johnson. He says he wants to stick around for a couple of months, but others, like the opposition Labour and even people inside of his own party, say enough is enough. Let's put a caretaker prime minister in there.
Fox's Greg Palcott in London. Johnson is accused of promoting lawmakers with sexual misconduct allegations and hosting parties during COVID-19 lockdowns. Operation North Star, going after fugitives of violent offenses in 10 U.S. cities.
The 30-day initiative called Operation North Star resulted in more than 1,400 arrests and 230 arrests for homicide nationwide. Locally, we apprehended 150 fugitives, sex offenders, and violent criminals in the Northern District of Illinois.
U.S. Marshal LaDon Reynolds in Chicago. And from his Twitter feed, news that actor James Caan has died. America's listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keep an eye out for a couple of scattered thunderstorms. Otherwise, though, partly sunny, hot and humid, 98 for the high. But get under a storm, a quick, brief cool down into the 70s. That rain, cooled air. Tonight, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms. A couple could be strong. 75 Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Otherwise, hot and humid. And again, a couple could be on the strong side Friday. 95. It's better for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The candidates are set in Illinois.
We know what the mission is and what our job is, and that's to make sure we take the majority.
Next up, the Missouri primary on August 2nd.
And we're going to continue to outwork our opponents.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Government, you need to get out of the way and return the power to the people.
Decision 2022 is sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes. Right here, right now on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. When you work with Stewie, you are going to get the God's honest truth each and every time when it comes to bettering your financial situation. Now, as rates have dipped down a little bit from where they were before, I want you to reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440 and tell him about your current situation. You got high interest credit card debt? Pay it off with the equity in your home. If you are somebody who's looking to better maybe a situation where you had a higher interest rate to begin with, Get a bagel loan with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage and quickly understand how he can improve your situation, specifically at Stewart's American Mortgage, because the bagel loan, he calls it the bagel loan because it looks like a zero, which means that you're not going to pay any fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you to go through this whole process. You're going to save money while you go through this process and improve your financial situation. He wants to compete and beat your current locked-in rate. So reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440 to get the process started right now. You can call him or you can text him. One more time, 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If your home needs an upgrade, don't get frustrated, get solutions. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design to transform your space into the home of your dreams. Our custom carpentry work has been wowing homeowners for over 20 years. Whether you want a deck or porch, a gorgeous sunroom, a remodeled basement, or more, our award-winning team does it all with in-house skilled carpenters. We even stand behind our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. With prices on everything going up fast, now is the time to buy. Edwards Carpet's having our 4th of July sale now through July 10th, and you'll pay no tax. Get 50-ounce carpets guaranteed for 15 and 20 years, completely installed with pad for only $449 to $499 a square foot, and we move the furniture and pull up your old carpet free. 12 months interest-free financing, and you'll pay no tax. Edwards Carpet, Ellisville, De Pere, and St. Charles.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Everybody knows you got to get it at Clement. Everybody knows you got to get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you got to get it at Clement. Everybody knows you got to get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here for my friends at Brittney Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brittney at 314-375-2020 or go online to BrittneyVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brittney Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brittney Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brittney. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brittney Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrittneyVision.com.
Before you begin digging your next outdoor project, save time and be safe by calling 811. Mark your project area with a water-soluble white paint or white flags to let utility locators know the location. Get more tips from Mango at mosafegas.com.
Search for Alterna 90s on the Odyssey app and listen to great songs. And some you've probably forgotten about. Alterna 90s on the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a Mary, the sweetheart. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The president is supposed to take care of things. And he says, I take no responsibility for that. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. He's doing the exact, I know this sounds sort of strange, but he's doing the exact thing we teach our kids not to do. Blame somebody else, not me, the other guy. Not me, the other guy. I mean, this is the president of the United States.
That might sound a little bit awkward to you, but I will tell you, it's from April of 2020. Does it make a little bit more sense now? President Biden, then candidate Biden, harping on then President Trump about always blaming somebody else, always blaming the other guy, not taking responsibility for their actions. Well, looky where we are now. I would love to talk to Fox News contributor and our friend Tyrus about it. Let's get to it right now.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, welcome back to the show. Always good to have you here. Listening to President Biden say that as candidate Biden about Joe Biden or about President Trump, I mean, it's annoying to me at this point.
Well, it's not surprising. He has proven. I mean, that's the least of our worries is that he's not taking responsibility for everything. When he's not fumbling stuff or forgetting what he's saying or having to be written in bold print, take your own seat. I think that in itself should be scary enough, but I think the bad news is already on its way. They have turned on him. The progressives have turned on him. And I'm sure right around January 23rd-ish, that's when all of a sudden it'll be a medical issue and he will step down.
That's interesting. So
you 10 years.
Do you think that he needs? Yeah, you have, and you've said that here before, Tyrus. That you think that he's not going to complete his term, and that there's going to be an incident that causes him to step down. We have a YouTube, the Annie Frey YouTube channel every day has a live chat poll, and today's is, what should the president do? Finish his term, step down, or be removed? Do you think it's the right thing for him to do at this point with what we've seen, his cognitive ability, his need to be puppeted through each and every step of the way? Do you think it is the right thing for President Biden to step down right now?
I think it is, for his own legacy, number one, but for two, give the progressives and the American people exactly what their message is. And I think they will clearly see, and with Biden gone, they won't have anybody to blame. And you will see probably one of the most biggest landslide elections in 2024 ever, because this country doesn't operate in first world problems. And they're going to use his cognitive issues as the reason why he steps down. It'll be valiant. And, the idea is that he's stepping down for the betterment of the United States and leaving them in great hands with Kamala and whomever her running VP is going to be. But with the idea that with their minds, the way that it works, and it's not a very deep mind to read the way they work. Everything is just, you keep going forward. You don't take responsibility for everything. You fix things that don't matter. Like, you change the name of a school, but you don't change the fact that no one's learning what they're supposed to be learning. It's like things like that. So we'll see a lot more of that. And I think it will inspire a lot more independents, women, and moderate Democrats to vote Republican, just so we can get back to some semblance of, forget everything else, just decorum.
Yeah.
And making resumes matter again. We check boxes instead of checking resumes, and we're seeing this firsthand. We're seeing another departure because no one gets fired from this administration because you can't. So instead, they're going to put helpers next to their chosen ones to do simple tasks. So now we'll be paying two people to do one job. So that's the progressive way, and this country is going to get a full taste of it. And I think buyer's remorse is an understatement.
We're speaking with Tyrus. He's a Fox News contributor. You see him on Gutfeld a few times a week, and also you listen to him on the Tyrus and Tim podcast, and you've read his book, Tyrus, a memoir, and I've had a lot of people, just Tyrus, I should say, And we've had a lot of people compliment your straightforwardness and the way that you present yourself in your book, and why they love listening to you each time you are on with us here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm curious what you think your straightforward thoughts are on what happens in the event that what you're saying takes place, that Joe Biden steps down in January, or as you said, and Kamala Harris takes over. I would think that the Democrats would see that as an opportunity to refresh their message. But if their message right now is that President Biden isn't doing progressive enough things, I mean, how low can this bar go for the United States?
Well, that's the thing about the progressive way. They don't make changes; they lower the bar. We've even, some of the language that's come out of the progressive camp and the mindset is just shocking. How they spit in the face of especially minorities, to where they're saying things now like being prompt and treating things with urgency or being on time is white supremacy. So, when that's the mindset, and these are supposedly educated individuals saying these things, that's the bar that we're going to have to deal with. But with a socialism idea, you don't want a bunch of intelligent, independent thinking individuals around you. You want people that rely on you for everything, and you give them remedial tasks, and they spend most of their day not being productive. That way they rely on the government and the good people to shepherd them. And that's kind of the progressive mindset is what we're seeing. No individual actually matters. If you're not our way, there's something wrong with you. If you have a different idea, we got book burnings in the back, but now they're done on Twitter. So, they replace law and order with destroying you on social media. So you don't actually break a crime, but you might do something that people disagree with, but you should lose your career, not be able to show your face, and which is kind of like a prison sentence, based on whatever they feel like. So there'll be a lot more of that. But the good news is that that's why we have elections. That's why it will hopefully, unless just something else cataclysmic happens in the next few months, have a Senate and a House that will be able to keep them in check. So, but again, but the Republicans got to do something. We can't change one ridiculous administration with another one. So it's the Republicans have a responsibility not to push the extremes of our party need to just shut up, and basically. And the Republicans Senate Republicans need to just get the deeds done again, get things done again. And, who cares about what they say on tweets and stuff? We need to get back to deeds in this country. We need to get back to moral codes in this country. We need to stop making everyone think everyone is represented under one flag or another, because it's asinine to say like all black people belong to Black Lives Matter and all gay people belong to the LGBTQ political system. It's not right. It's not fair. And we need to get away from that stuff.
Yeah, the individualism and independence that comes along with being an American, the thing that unites us is our Americanism and our differences. And that's supposed to be something unique to the United States of America, is that this is where people come to, where they can be themselves together. And we've absolutely lost that. I was watching Gutfeld last night, as I am apt to do in the evenings, and they were talking about this Oregon health official. You were so spot on and so well said on this particular topic. So I encourage people to go back and watch it, but I'm going to ask you about it right now. This Oregon health official says that urgency, the sense of urgency is a factor of white supremacy. And, they've talked about in other instances that you have to basically lower standards to eliminate the white supremacy patriarchy or whatever it is. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on that here on the Annie Frey Show, because you were, like I said, bullseye, target on.
The idea that minorities can't be on time, the idea that we can't do things with a sense of urgency, we can't do our job in a timely manner. So we're going to make it to where those things are bad because, well, we got to lower the bar so you guys can be equal with us. How is that not more insulting than somebody saying, I don't want to work with black people? Like, in what way? Like, basically saying that we have to lower the standards because you guys just can't play at this level. So I'm willing to, I believe I use different terminology, step off my high horse and give you guys a hand. Like, we're going to lower the playing field to where there is no playing. But this is how socialism works, is you need everyone ignorant, lazy, dependent on the government, look for the government officials, look for the people above them for all their answers, control their education, control they speak. And if you take away women's rights and you take away individual rights and you make everybody a person, I believe one of the terms I heard was a person with a uterus. What? I'm not calling my woman, wife, person uterus, that just makes no sense. But that's taking away her dignity. That's taking away her individualism. So if you're not my way, if you're not our way, and we just keep changing it, so you can't even fight it, you can't even argue it, and anything you say back to them, which is a waste of time anyways, but anything you say back to them, you're a racist regardless of color. I mean, literally, the new senator in Texas is the face of white supremacy, and she's a Latino woman. So there's just nothing you can do anymore to combat this. So, and there's just any person of color who doesn't show up to work on time, and if you question them on why are you late, and they're like, you can't question me because that makes you a supremacist, then I'll just be a supremacist, and you're not going to work for me. And I have to be on time, and it goes against, and the same thing with our school. We got to start our schools later so the kids have more time to be on social media at night instead of letting the parents, put the babysitter down and stop letting kids watch, YouTube channels and things like that. And so instead of fixing the problem, we just lower the bar. So, and hey, and we know you guys can't follow the law. It's just not in you. I mean, you're minorities after all, for crying out loud. So we're going to make it to where you don't even go to jail. So if you kill each other, rape each other, we'll let you out in a few hours because you'll cool off. It's not your fault. It's like we're letting bulldozer parents be in charge like that. They don't do anything with their child. I had bulldozer parents over my house one time, and their son went into my action figure room, and not doll room, action figure room, and he started touching my Godzilla stuff, and I was like, "Hey man, that's not yours. Get out of this room. You're not supposed to be in here." My mom lets me go over. You're not in your mama's house anymore. You're in my house. And do you like all your fingers? Don't touch my stuff again without permission. That's what happens in my house.
You taught him a lesson that day that he had not learned before.
And then he ran back and he whispered his mom, and she was like, "Did you threaten my child?" I said, "I told him if he kept touching my stuff, that he was probably gonna have an accident with his hand." Yeah, that's what happens when you touch people's things without permission, especially. And why are you not watching him? Well, we're trying to have a good time, and so are we, but we're all chasing after your child. So this clearly isn't the place for you because my kids follow rules in my household, and you're in my household, so this is my jurisdiction. So, you can go bulldozer somewhere else, and that's what we're having. We got bad parenting in the White House as a policy, and we got bad parenting, as the progressive way of wanting everyone to just let everybody do what they want to do, and it'll be fine until it affects them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they lose their minds once again.
But lucky they have the security team and the money to be able to move.
I mean, we have really moved to a place where we talked about this a little bit earlier in the week on the show, how nobody wants to be in service to anybody anymore. Nobody wants to lower themselves and elevate anybody else in their lives anymore, but everybody wants everybody else to be in service to them all the time. We have a full sense of self, and we've lost any type of sense of caring for other people, serving other people in our lives. And it just shows at every level of culture, of government. We are the most self-centered society that we could possibly be in this moment. And it's degrading.
Spoiled rotten with at one point no real threats, but now the threats will come from within. But we become a Facebook society. I have 500 followers on my Facebook. I'm a person of substance. You need to know my pronouns and my thoughts and whatever. I have an audience that depends on me. What? But that's the thing. Everyone's a celebrity now. Everyone's an entertainer now. Like everyone needs to be on TV now. So there's this narcissistic trend of I'm so important that even though I didn't bother to, whatever my circumstances was, my job is what it is. No. I'm not going to do my job because at home I have my own podcast. and I'm somewhat of a somebody in my house, or my mom's house probably is more accurate. And then they go out into work and like, you can't tell me what to do. And I'm not going to follow these rules, and we accept it. But I think it's temporary. I think businesses are starting to realize I think Spotify and Netflix stepping up and being the adult in the room really started to look at other businesses going, hey, you know what? Their numbers got better when they had boundaries. So maybe we're going to start getting boundaries. I think the situation where the individual didn't show up to work because he was mourning a court decision, and they fired him for not doing his job. I think they're starting to see like, hey, maybe we don't have to bend to these woke crowds that aren't as big as we think they are. You know, it's the same thing with everyone who protested and boycotted Spotify. Half of them came quietly back to put their music back on.
Yeah. Very
and Joe Rogan's doing just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so right. I mean, people just got to stick with it, stand for what they believe in, and not bend. Don't bend, don't break.
No, we got to get morality back in this kind. And this is from a guy I'm a science guy. I'm not a religious guy at all, but I do 1000% believe in the teachings you get from religion. Like the 10 Commandments matter. Those things matter. Now, I don't believe in organized religion, but I do respect people's faith, and I do respect the idea of being respectful to each other. And there's a difference between respecting differences and shoving your differences on other people. And we're getting away from that. And I don't think a person who has an open, different, like morality, like you realize that Gary Hart couldn't be president because he had an affair on his wife. Now we have unqualified people in positions who post pictures of young boys in dog masks, calling them their pups. Like we've kind of lost it a little bit. That's not okay. And it has nothing to do with the individual's sexuality, but it has everything to do with their moral code. Like that individual doesn't represent gay men. He represents himself. But that's what everyone's seeing. And that's what the issues are like, wait a minute, that's not fair. That's like if black people arrived on this planet today and we decide to have Two Live Crew as our representative, people are going to feel a certain kind of way. Some are going to embrace it and be like, wow. And other people are like, wow, these guys really use bad language and are aggressive. You know, so it's about not making everyone stick to a box. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put us all in boxes. And, you know, some of us are too big for boxes, but we need to get away from that. And the only way you do that is by standing up to them. And the man in this White House, they won't even fire anybody. They won't, they'll just make excuses. But again, that's short term. It's short term. This isn't forever. November's coming faster and faster every day. And we're going to see huge changes. But the downside is the Republicans, is that song, I can give it, what you're going to do with it. They need to do not necessarily the entire whims of the party. We need to get back to the middle and start bringing people in and start fixing boundaries, because this president clearly failed at what got him elected was he was going to bring the country together. He didn't, not even a little bit. It's worse now than it ever was. And I would gladly take a ridiculous 3 a.m. tweet right now and have $1.99 gas.
Yeah. Yes. So you and so many other people out there, Tyrus, you give it to us straight. We love it each and every week. Hopefully we can work something out with you and your folks. I know there've been some conversations late in August. Tyrus is going to be in St. Louis for another engagement. So every time you're on, Tyrus, everyone's like, Tyrus needs to come to St. Louis. Well, he is.
Oh, I'm going to be there. So, I mean, I don't mind coming. We'll figure it out, even if I just come to the station for the day.
There, done.
No.
We'll do it upright. And I think I checked that the Cardinals are in town that weekend. So
as long as
maybe
I'm playing the Red Sox, I'll go.
The Red Sox have one more win on the season right now than the St. Louis Cardinals. I just looked that up. It's a good race. 50
games back. So
I think it was 17. But the Yankees are out of this world. The Yankees are out of this world. What are you going to do?
Having fun. You're breaking up here.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll tell people to check out Just Tyrus, a memoir, and we'll talk to you again next week, Tyrus. Always love having you on the show.
If you're still there, bye. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. You're always welcome here, of course. We'll talk to you again soon. Tyrus, Fox News contributor, and you see him on Gutfeld, and I tell you what, he is good every single time he's on there, and if you're not watching Gutfeld, you need to be. We're going to take a quick break because Wiggins America is chomping at the bit, and we had another guest go along, and I need to hear what Ryan has to say about whatever he wants to talk about. He's pumping his fists in the air in his Captain America shirt with Joe Biden eerily leaking over his shoulder right now. If you know, you got to see it on the YouTube live chat where you can vote in the poll that we talked about with Tyrus there regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency. What should President Biden do? Should he finish his term, step down, or be removed? What should President Biden do? Your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll on the break, and Wiggins America taking over the segment next. We'll be right back.
13 months, baby.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend, Saturday from 3 to 4, and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk.
When I talk to you about Slim 180, I want to make sure that you understand what Slim 180 has done for me personally, because of course I'm here talking to you about how you can lose weight with myslim180.com. That's the website you go to. What they've done for me, over 20 pounds lost that I was able to keep off over vacation, a week's vacation in Florida, where I didn't really hold back. I didn't eat a ton. I didn't eat for quantity, but I ate what I wanted. I had treats with my kids. I enjoyed the time on vacation, came back, and I only gained a pound, and that's already come off. I want you to understand that Slim 180 is going to listen to you talk about your struggles. What has caused you to put weight on? What has caused you to keep yourself from losing the weight each time you tried before? Have you ever tried to lose the weight before? If you're looking to lose 10 pounds, or if you're looking to lose 100 pounds or more, anywhere in the middle, over, under, Slim 180 can help you. They can help you make better decisions in your eating habits. They can help you make lifestyle commitments that are going to keep this as a lasting effect. And they can do for you what they've done for me, which is give me energy, confidence, less rickety knees after having 4 babies, and putting on probably about 15 pounds of COVID weight. Slim 180 helped me, and I hope that they can help you too. But you have to call them and mention the Annie Frey Show and save up to 35% off of the programs that they have available to you right now. You can find them online at myslim180.com.
Mark Cox here. In life, there are good surprises and bad surprises. I caught one of the bad surprises the other day after we locked our keys in our truck while on vacation. The good news is I have a Car Shield protection plan. Every protection plan includes coast-to-coast roadside assistance at no extra cost. One phone call, and before long, I was back in the truck and we were on our way. That's fantastic. You're going to love Car Shield. They offer protection plans for around $100 a month that cover more parts than ever before. When you need a repair, you don't have to deal with the paperwork or the headaches. All you have to do is choose the mechanic to do the work. Car Shield administrators handle the rest. Now, Car Shield helps make the surprise of your car breaking down easier to handle. Get coverage like I did. Go to carshield.com/Cox or call 800-391-8888 to save 10% on your plan. That's carshield.com/Cox.
We thought it was over.
Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens has just resigned this afternoon.
Scandal after scandal.
Already facing a felony charge, now accused of a second felony.
Now there's more about Eric Greitens.
Former Missouri governor is now accused of spousal abuse and intimidation.
In a sworn affidavit, Eric Greitens' former wife said,
I became afraid for my safety and that of our children due to Eric's unstable and coercive behavior. Physical violence toward our children, cuffing our then 3-year-old son across the face, yanking him around by his hair, a swollen face, bleeding gums, and a loose tooth. He said Dad had hit him. I wanted to protect our children because I was afraid of what Eric would do.
Scandals, felony charges, now physical abuse allegations. That's not conservative, but it's the real Eric Greitens. Paid for by Show Me Values PAC, showmevalues.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic,
Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
The following is a commercial announcement.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Around the house, hidden behind the window and the door, searching for signs of life, but there's nobody home.
Ryan, do you know a guy named Bill on YouTube?
I know many people named Bill. If they're on YouTube,
says-
maybe.
He says, I really enjoy watching this show on YouTube, especially Wiggins America. Much like me, Ryan most definitely has a mug made for radio and a resonating voice perfect for print.
That's a back. That none of that's actually good. Bill. No, I don't know Bill. Bill's taking cheap shots and everybody's
Ryan
having
is
a good
actually a
time.
handsome man. And so is Brad. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. You got to tune into the YouTube channel to see these handsome faces.
We don't have labels up too, so you got to pick out which one of us is which.
Yeah. Who looks like Brad and who looks like Ryan when they're not speaking? You could tune in to find out.
Which one of us
All right.
sounds more handsome? That's the question. That's all that matters.
Yeah, okay, you can comment. That could be a poll tomorrow.
Let's do that.
I like that poll.
I'm going to tell you right now what the poll for tomorrow is going to be. The poll for tomorrow is going to be, should Ryan buy his wife flowers? And I told Ryan that he can set a goal, and if we hit that goal, then he's got to buy his wife flowers. I think that's fair. You agreed to that, didn't you?
No,
you did. And you're nodding.
What I'm going to do is undermine your poll and buy flowers tonight and not tell you, and then have you do the poll and then completely cut it out from cut its knees off.
So the poll will be, should Ryan buy flowers tonight for his wife?
Tomorrow.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do
When
that.
will then be now? Soon. Do you?
The future ain't what it used to be.
I feel like we have to break here pretty soon. We went so long with Tyrus, but he was making so many good points. Let me talk about the YouTube live chat poll here real quick regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency. What should President Biden do? Should he finish his term? Should he step down? Or should he be removed? You guys both said he should step down, correct?
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what he should do.
He should do that. Do you think that the country, what do you think immediately happens if President Biden steps down? I mean, and when would that happen?
What immediately happens is they turn to making Kamala bulletproof. I mean, they try to make her unbelievably likable. Yeah, it's going to be really hard, which is actually one of the reasons that I say not only should he do that, but I think it would be good if he did that for whoever. If it's Kamala or Biden that runs in 2024, it doesn't really matter. Both of them are so unlikable and so unpopular that it's not going to matter. But, they do turn their attention to her. Everybody does. And she gets scrutinized more. She would have a really tough time stepping up to that stage because she's done such a bad job in what's supposed to be a pretty easy job of vice president. And it's not going to be pretty if that happens.
I don't know if they can make her bulletproof. And I was sitting here thinking, it's like, so what happens? I don't think anything changes as far as policy wise. I think that it's just full speed ahead with terrible policy, which is the actual problem. It's not Biden the guy, it's Biden the policy, Biden the administration. And I think Kamala's on board with that. I think Biden actually garners a little bit of sympathy. I'm watching him talk right now on air, and he just kind of looks lost, weak, not good. And there's a certain part of that kind of like pulls at the heartstrings. Like, man, I feel bad for this guy. I mean, I know, Annie, you talk about that sometimes whenever you talk about Jill. You can see it's like, who lets their husband go through that?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm looking at Joe Biden, and the only way that I can have human empathy for him, because he's my president. He is not my dad. He's not my grandpa. He's not my husband. He is my president, and he ran for that job. I did not vote for him, but he got the job. He is terrible at being a president. So I have the right to be judgmental and to be unhappy and dissatisfied and want him to be replaced. And you get to do that in America. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to wave my flag and say, I'm literally going to wave my flag. I have one handy right here. And just in case of a moment like this, God bless America. We need a new president. Is it Kamala Harris? Is that really who we need to have step into this situation and solve these problems? Good grief. I mean, I don't even know how that manifests itself in this country and how dire the situation can get if somebody, I mean, I don't even know if she has her wits about her. I mean, every time she comes out here and says, oh, okay, if I hear the phrase word salad another time, and it's used in context with Kamala Harris weekly, she comes out with another speech where she says every single iteration of a sentence and the arrangement of the words in the sentence in a row. And then she walks away from the microphone. But while she's saying the sentences, she bounces her hands up and down and she bounces her head up and down. And she looks around the room like, I'm the smartest person here, right? And then she just walks away. And then that's the end of it. Is that going to be the president? Is that better than what we have right now? I just know that what we have right now, he's not in charge. And I would like to see the person who is in that position be the person who's in charge.
I'll add this one more thing before we break. Our foreign enemies have been so emboldened in a Biden administration. I mean, it's one of the reasons everybody knows we're seeing Russia invade Ukraine. We wouldn't have seen it. We didn't see it under Trump. I think that aspect of the world, though, would actually get worse under Kamala Harris, because it would look like we're in more disarray, first of all. And she's not going to have any better policies than he does. And in fact, would probably have less knowledge of the rest of the world. She might not be as bought and sold as he is, possibly, by some of our foreign adversaries. But I don't think that would get any better, and it might get worse under Kamala Harris. So there are things that I surprisingly might be worse if he did step down, but I still think he probably should.
And I think, too, she loses that sympathy vote. I don't think that she can go. So I think then on top of everything that Ryan just mentioned, you have a very upset, very angry, we don't like her American public on top of it all.
It'll be something. Well, let's take a quick break. That was such a short segment that we want to give you a full segment to do your Weekends America, which is right around the corner. And you got a lot of things to talk about here, but especially when it comes to political hypocrisy, Ryan is going to lay out the latest installment in this that just makes you go, are you kidding me? Why do these people get away with this? Because you get in trouble for things that you shouldn't even get in trouble with in the first place. And the lawmakers, the rule makers, the people who are in charge don't even have to follow the things that they implement for people, little ones, little folks just like you and me. Weekends America with Ryan Wiggins in a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
The word hello has only been around since 1883.
What?
Are you going to throw a flag on this one, Mark? No, do not throw a flag. Okay, go ahead and look it up.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I love the Diamond Shop. Now, if you were looking for a trustworthy place for you to be able to go in and purchase jewelry, I've got the place for you folks. It is the Diamond Shop. When I have gone in there multiple times I've bought stuff myself. My husband's bought stuff for me. They have an amazing selection. And right now in July, they're having a great sale. The Diamond Shop is currently having a clearance sale where all customers can get up to 70% off all in-stock jewelry until the end of July. They are located in Clayton. They're easy to get to, and you can book an appointment online if you want to, but you can just visit them in their store in Clayton. And I want you to know that these are people who you can trust to walk you through the process. If you know exactly what you want, if you're well-versed when it comes to the language of jewelry, these are your people because they're experts. They've been around. The Diamond Shop has been around since 1910. They know what they're doing. If you are somebody who is a novice, like maybe my husband and I were both times when we went in separately to buy stuff for each other previously, a couple years ago, I didn't know anything about what I wanted. I wanted a tie chain for my husband, and they customized something exactly for him, was well within my budget, and they treated me with respect the entire time. If you are looking for people who know what they're doing, are going to make you a customer for life because of the customer service they provide you and the trust that they are going to earn from you in your jewelry purchase, simple enough, go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton. Since 1910, you can become a VIP on their website. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
Hey, it's Bo for Beast Plumbing. If you are in need of a new garbage disposal, the best one on the market today is the Evo Pro 1100 XL garbage disposal. Beast Plumbing has a deal, $75 off when you get that installed in the month of July. The business of Beast Plumbing is growing by leaps and bounds. They are looking for customer service representatives and office managers. If you're interested, get a hold of Beast Plumbing right away at 314-698-1154 or beastplumbing.com. That's BEIS plumbing.com. Tell them Bo sent you.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to unclog these gutters.
That's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters flowing now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micro mesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me?
Bingo! Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life.
Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com right now for an extra 15% savings. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com. That's 1-844-300-LEAF.
Call Zero Res today and ask for the Mark Reardon special. This month, Zero Res of St. Louis is offering a 3-room special starting at $119 and $75 off air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. That's 474-2020. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
She's a mouthful of anything and everything a man could want. Yeah. She ain't typical, but she's unpredictable. She's available.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
All right, here we go. The theme of this day's Wiggins America is we know better than you. There's a whole bunch of stories that I found that all have that theme to them. And let's start with Gavin Newsom, California. He took a trip with his family to Montana on Friday. The problem with this story is that state-funded trips to Montana are banned in California by none other than Gavin Newsom because of Montana's LGBTQ policies. He has banned travel to 22 different states for a variety of reasons involving LGBTQ issues. Now, Newsom did not use state funds for this travel, so he's saying, but it's completely fine. But he believes in it so strongly that he, again, banned all of his employees from traveling there on the state dime. But he himself thinks that it's not so egregious that he's not willing to take vacations there. The problem, furthermore, his family owns land there, and so they go there pretty often. And
well, why is he such a bigot?
Explain.
Well, I mean, if he owns land in Montana, and Montana is a bigoted state that Californians, the high and mighty Californians, can't participate in, at least in state taxpayer dollar funded travel. But his privately spent money, which I will remind you is taxpayer funded, at least his salary is.
Yeah.
Then why does he get to go to Montana? I mean, I know that's your point, but I mean, it does make you just want to.
Yeah, it makes you go, rules for thee, but they don't apply. I mean, privately we can do whatever we want, but publicly we have to say this. I mean, that's what it looks like.
It's the same thing as saying that you can't have Major League Baseball's All-Star game in Georgia, so you're going to relocate it to another state.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what are we doing just later on in the baseball season? The World freaking Series is in Atlanta, Georgia, and then they go and win the whole thing. I mean, that is the best karma of all karma. Like they say, karma's only a B if you are. That's my favorite quote.
Yeah.
One of them, at least. But I mean, to just the absolute hypocrisy of saying from a state leader level as the governor that Montana bad. That's what they're saying.
That's
right?
the point.
Montana
is boycott
bad.
Montana, except
and
for
Montana
me.
Montana is bad. Why? Because they're bigoted people, or it's a bigoted state. So we are not going to invest. Well, I'm going to invest my money, but that's different.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. The money spends the same in
Is
Montana.
there French Laundry in Montana?
Well,
that's probably where he
that's another good point, is that these are the same guys. I mean, Newsom particularly, but J.B. Pritzker too, and Governor Whitmer of Michigan, they all broke their own COVID rules over and over. And mayors did it throughout the country who were the most harsh on their own populations. They would say, here's what you have to do. And then they break them over and over. I looked into, now this article, for some reason, would not list what those LGBTQ policies were that California was protesting, because I thought, what in the world are they protesting? I want to see what it is. Wouldn't in the article, so I had to look it up. It's participation in school sports at the K through 12 and college level must be based on biological sex. That's what is so egregious that California absolutely refuses to spend money there, unless you're Gavin Newsom, and then you can spend money there. Here's the next one. Now, this one's pretty funny. I got one more if we got time that's not quite as funny. But art, I specifically pulled this from an art industry, like a trade magazine website, artworld.net. Jumbo photographs of Joe Biden just replaced Norman Rockwell's on view at the White House for 4 decades.
That's so that he remembers he's the president. They need one in every room. Who's that guy? He's a good-looking dude. That's you. You're the president. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Can you imagine being the person, and maybe it was Joe Biden, that said yes to this? Like, what we need to do is get rid of those Norman Rockwells that are, Americana at its finest.
Is there a better instance than to imagine what if Donald Trump had done that?
Exactly.
What if Donald Trump had said, no more Norman Rockwells, more portraits of me?
Yes.
Whether Donald Trump had anything to do with it, that question would never be even asked. They would be slobbering all over themselves on the lamestream media, talking about how Donald Trump can't get enough of himself in every room. I'm exaggerating, at least in the every room thing. I feel like it might be a good idea, as I said, to remind President Biden that he is in fact President Biden. He just put a little like label in the bottom that says president.
You.
But for Donald Trump, for Donald Trump to be, you. This is you with the mirror. For Donald Trump to replace anything with his face would be at least a 48-hour news cycle story.
Oh, yeah.
Lead. And you said, what was the website you found this on?
Well, it's on a lot of them, but I chose artnews.net or something. So I wanted to get their
website
take.
Ryan checks every day.
Yeah,
just in
art
case.
news. Ooh, what's going on in the art world? So, and also, wouldn't it be great if every time Joe Biden walked past one of those, he goes, "Oh yeah, that's
cool.
right. I did
Hey,
get
Jill.
that. Jill, look at
this.
Oh, by the way, fake news. Remember the fake news story that said that President Trump was removing the bust of MLK?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was a huge news story, and it wasn't even true.
Right at the beginning of his presidency.
Yeah. All right, last one I'm going to squeeze in here that says, "We know better than you." Washington State is allowing now minors to undergo life-changing gender reassignment surgery without parental consent.
Holy crap. That's terrible.
Yeah, under a new
That's
law,
child abuse.
health insurer. This is another part of this, not even getting much coverage. Health insurers must cover gender-affirming care, including special surgical treatments that were previously denied coverage. Democrats rejected a proposal to apply that new law to patients over 18 on purpose to circumvent parents. Basically, this is the epitome of the state saying, we know better than parents, therefore we need to take care. Kids, get the parents out of the way. We're going to do what we think is best for you. And parents are just basically obstacles to the state taking over here.
Man, Go ahead,
Brad.
Okay, I was going to say, you want to talk about turning parents into a voting bloc. They thought they did something in Virginia. Holy cow, watch out.
It blows my mind that the idea of gender reassignment to minors is not thought of in outrage in the same vein as conversion therapy. I don't understand why, like the idea of conversion therapy, where you're going to take somebody and go put them in front of a medical professional and change their mind on who they are. That is a therapy that is met with outrage by a large portion of society. Why is the same outrage not poured upon gender reassignment for minors? Give me a break, people. Let's have some common sense about this. It's absolutely ridiculous, and we need to keep calling it out. One of the things Tyrus said at the beginning of this hour is he was talking about one of the people in the Biden administration who had stood up for a website that was highlighting younger boys. I don't know the whole thing. I don't know the website specifically. I think I do, but I'm not going to say it on the air. And Tyrus said, it's not okay. And what I liked about that is Tyrus was willing to say, it's not okay. We need to be more willing to say when things are not okay, out loud, with confidence, understanding there's going to be blowback, but still say it. Stick around the 2:00 hour of the Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
It's undeniable. She's gotta have a bomb.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to unclog these gutters.
That's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters flowing now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micro mesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me?
Bingo. Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life.
Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com right now for an extra 15% savings. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com. That's 1-844-300-LEAF.
TR Hughes Homes is celebrating the 4th of July in our great country the entire month of July with red, white, and blue savings. Save $4,000 to $10,000 on several brand new, ready now TR Hughes inventory homes in 2 beautiful St. Charles communities, Charlestown Landing in St. Charles City and Riverdale, just 10 minutes from the St. Peter's Deerbergs. And to celebrate even more, TR Hughes will pay up to $4,000 of your closing costs. Big savings with $4,000 to $10,000 off an already great price and $4,000 in closing costs the entire month month of July. Visit trhughes.com for details, and God bless America.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. With prices on everything going up fast, now is the time to buy. Edwards Carpet's having our 4th of July sale now through July 10th, and you'll pay no tax. Get 50-ounce carpets guaranteed for 15 and 20 years, completely installed with pad for only $449 to $499 a square foot, and we move the furniture and pull up your old carpet free. 12 months interest-free financing, and you'll pay no tax. Edwards Carpet, Ellisville, De Pere, and St. Charles.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow, and hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
President in Kyiv. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham and Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal discussed humanitarian and economic aid with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Senator Graham.
When we get back, we're going to try to get the Senate as a whole to pass the resolution, hopefully leading the way for the administration to label Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism.
Senator Blumenthal.
Russia should be designated as a state sponsor of terrorism, just like Iran, North Korea, the other pariahs of the world.
Both visited a suburb of Kyiv where Ukrainian officials say Russian forces tortured and killed hundreds of civilians. Quick decisions and trust in lower-level leaders are part of a new military strategy. Marine Corps Commandant General David Berger explains at the Hudson Institute series on defense disruptors.
The shared common operational picture, I think, looks different than it did in the Middle East. We have to get used to that. Commanders have to get used to learning about something that happened yesterday.
He says deterring activity without escalating war also is key. Among the topics, a warning from the FBI director and head of the UK intelligence agency MI5. Beijing is attempting to shield their economy from sanctions likely to be imposed if China invades Taiwan. From Sonny in The Godfather.
No more, not this time, Consigliere. No more meetings, no more discussions, no more Salazzo tricks.
To Brian's song, Las Vegas, Misery, Neil Simon's Chapter 2, For the Boys, Will Ferrell's Father and Elf, and many more. James Caan entertained audiences and delighted fans. His manager confirming Caan died yesterday at age 82. Caan was a football player at Michigan State and a practical joker on sets. He managed a long career despite drug problems, outbursts of temper, and minor brushes with the law. Married and divorced 4 times, Caan has a daughter, Tara, and 4 sons, Scott, Alexander, James, and Jacob. America's listening to Fox
News. Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh, now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keep an eye out for a couple of scattered thunderstorms. Otherwise, though, partly sunny, hot and humid, 98 for the high. But get under a storm, a quick, brief cool down into the 70s. That rain, cooled air. Tonight, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms. A couple could be strong. 75 Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Otherwise, hot and humid. And again, a couple could be on the strong side Friday. 95. It's better for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
2 Democratic senators who will help us get rid of the filibuster, which the president has now said he's on board for that.
I think the reason that they don't want voters to decide this issue is because in the end, I don't think that it's a winner for them.
Right here, right now.
That is a great threat to the entire coalition on the left. So they want to shut it down, cancel Clarence Thomas because he dares to think for himself.
97.1 FM Talk.
2022 is zipping by quickly, and if you haven't taken care of that big exterior painting job for your home or business, CertaPro Painters can help. I've depended on CertaPro for all my painting needs for more than a decade now. They talk about something called the power of pro. That's the power of timeliness, the power of doing it right, the power of minimal disruption. They work to make sure it's a smooth project from start to finish. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, the power of pro. Check out CertaPro.com today.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk. And in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcasts on Odyssey.com and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
When you're trying to hire, all that searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, the end-to-end hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for spending some of your Thursday afternoon with us. 2:08 here on 97.1 FM Talk. I want to talk to you a little bit about parenting. I came across this article on CNBC's website. It came out on July 4th. I have 4 kids. Ryan, you have 3 kids. Brad, you are a youth pastor. So we all spend time around kids of varying ages, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is from a child psychologist, like I said, a CNBC article. The number one skill that sets mentally strong kids apart from, quote, those who give up, and how parents can teach it. And I won't make you guess what that number one skill is. I'll just tell you what the article says here. It says a raging pandemic, gun violence, climate change. As an educational psychologist, I've seen firsthand how the troubling events of today are taking a toll on our children. An 11-year-old told this psychologist, it's hard to stop thinking about bad stuff. Sometimes I worry about waking up. Without the right tools to handle adversity, hopelessness can set in and kids' overall well-being can decline. Hope is what energizes them to stay mentally strong during tough times, and it's what sets them apart from those who give up easily. So it's saying here that the skill that you can teach children that best sets them apart from those children who choose to give up is hope. And I thought that's a really interesting word, because a lot of people have hope, but for like an incredibly wide array of reasons that you can have hope, because you can have hope in a really, really incredibly dire time, and you can be at the peak, at the top of the mountain, and you cannot really have hope because you feel like you've already arrived at what it is that you were trying to achieve. For my family, and I'm not going to speak for you guys, I'll let you guys speak for yourselves here in a minute, but the hope in my family comes from my Christian faith. And you don't have to have a Christian faith to have hope because of faith. But to suggest that there's a religious tie, and if you look at statistics about church attendance, about the importance of some sort of religious faith in the family, like where that is prioritized today versus where it has been over the course of time, is there any wonder that kids have less hope in their lives when we've stripped religion out of every facet, every corner, and shamed people away from having faith in something? Because honestly, you can't have hope if you don't have faith. You don't have to have faith in like what I have faith in, which is Jesus and my Christian faith. But having hope in and of itself is a belief that something good is coming, or that there is something better that you don't have in your is not tangible to you yet. It is in the future, but there is something positive that you can look forward to. That is what hope is. So for me and my family, it is my Christian faith, and that supersedes anything that is earthly here. And that matters to my family and to me. But to suggest, like this idea that science and psychology is saying that kids are feeling hopeless today more than they ever have before. You can take the religious part out of that and look at it in a secular way. And like I'm saying, for the purpose of the larger conversation here, with the predetermination that in my family, our hope is built on a Christian foundation. Setting that aside and talking about it in a secular world, look at what the adult world, the adult existence is doing to kids today. And look at what the adult existence and the adult expectation and the adult brokenness is placing on our kids. We don't allow kids to be kids anymore. We ended the last segment with Ryan talking about the story about, was that Washington State?
Yeah,
that
Washington
you said?
State.
You tell that story again here real quick.
Well, they're allowing gender reassignment surgeries to take place without parental consent now. So if you're 13 or over, they turned down the 18 and over law. There was a provision that said you have to be 18 to be a part of this. They said no, and they voted for 13 and up, no parental consent. You can have gender reassignment surgery, any sort of, gender affirming surgery without talking to your parents at all, and it's completely covered by insurance.
It's unbelievable. And in the state of Illinois, you can have unverified by parents abortions. You can make these incredibly massive adult grown-up decisions without the presence of grown-ups around. We're putting that on our kids. And you know why we're putting it on our kids? So that grown-ups can win political arguments. That is child abuse. Full stop. Child abuse. So I'm reading this article from CNBC, and it's saying that we need to provide hope for our kids, and it gives us a few reasons or a few steps as to how you can do this. So we can talk about that if we want to, but I just want to get your thoughts and opinions on it. Brad, I'll go to you first as a youth pastor who deals with youth across the board, not as a parent, but specifically as somebody who potentially outside of parental advice, people may seek out your thoughts and opinions on a whole variety of issues. I mean, do you see hopelessness in kids today?
Yeah, I do. It's interesting that you pointed out to have hope, you have to have faith in something. And that's just like a diagnosis of our and it's actually an indictment of our society when you stop and think about it. Because if you look around and you look at everything, what do they tell you about society? Well, they tell you that the United States is a bad country and is founded on terrible things. They tell you that you're not good enough based on the color of your skin, or you're an oppressor based on the color of your skin. So they're not giving you any hope there. They're telling you that the world's going to end in 12 years because of climate change. So you got to hurry up and do these things. They're telling you that the government is literally trying to take away your rights. So there's that. And then what are we telling our kids that they have to look forward to? We've given them nothing to have faith. And this is outside of the religious thing. We've removed faith from the public sphere as best that we can. And nobody's allowed to talk about faith. You're an oppressor. If you have a Christian faith, that's just a tool of white supremacy. It's all these other things. And so we've looked around, and then we've told our kids there's nothing to look forward to. The world is terrible. Everything is bad. Why don't you have any hope?
Yeah. Like you don't even have a future past 12 years if the world doesn't exist.
Right.
You want to talk about being hopeless. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about kind of something that Brad just talked about there too. I mean, and I allude to this quite a bit, and I'm trying to do this even more. Like for my family specifically, we live in a Christian home with Christian values that is important to us. That is the lifestyle that we identify with. And I chose each of those words very specifically. In a world where we're supposed to embrace who we are and be authentic, I hate that word, and put ourselves out there proudly with who we choose to be. I mean, your family and my family are very similar in that way. Do you see, is it as obvious to you why kids might feel hopeless today, especially in a godless world?
Yeah. YOLO, right? I mean, that's the prevailing philosophy is do it now. And if it feels good or it
YOLO,
makes you happy
break
right
that
now,
down for the
you only live
non-acronym.
once. You only live once. YOLO. That is a
YOLO.
full, and look, I get the mindset of when you're, in college and you're like, well, you only live once. Like we all went through that phase. Everybody goes through that phase of life. And, it's actually kind of appealing if somebody tells you, well, pursue what you want and when you want it right now. I mean, that's attractive. But when you ultimately make that your guiding principle, that means that you have to pursue basically full on hedonism all the time and get yourself to be as happy as you can right now. And there's nothing else that can do it other than you. You have to pursue it. And if you don't, you're failing because there really is nothing ahead. And it's sort of within the confines of a deep conversation. What we're talking about is not deep. It's not deep at all. You're talking about hope. Well, how do you have hope if you believe there's either nothing after this or nothing beyond what you are?
Yeah, there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing good. What's the point?
So it is in the context of our Christian faith, of course, because we're believers in Christ, but just the concept, like approach it, even if you're not a Christian, approach it from that angle and say, look, if you have nothing to look forward to at the end of your life or beyond what's in control of this world right now, where would you find hope? I don't know.
This is interesting to me. The first step in helping, from this child psychologist in the CNBC article on helping your kids find hope. And I got to think that this is all going to be in a very secular conversation where we're not talking about like biblical afterlife hope here. And it's okay, in my opinion, it's okay to have secular hope for things, and it's okay to have religious hope for things, and it's okay if your religious hope for the afterlife is different than mine. I mean, that's part of what makes America great here, is that we are supposed to be able to worship the way we want to worship or choose not to worship at all. But having secular hope, that's not a bad thing either. Listen to this as the first step. Stop negativity in the moment. Ungrounded pessimism eats away at hope, which is why it's important to help kids catch negativity before it becomes a habit. Develop a private code to signal, quote, that's a negative comment, like pulling on your ear, then encourage them to interrupt negative thoughts. Creating a nickname for their pessimistic voice, like Mr. Negative Nelly, can help kids control it. When your kid utters even an ounce of optimism, quote, I'm getting better at this, salute it. Yes, I can tell you've been practicing. So, is it good to help to break a repetitive cycle of negative thoughts in your kid? Of course it is. So I'm not gonna slam this completely and totally, but I do absolutely feel like part of having hope has to be an embracing of the reality and the truth that exists in the moment. And you can't hope for things in the future if you feel like everything around you has been made perfect the way it is. And if everything around you has been made perfect the way it is, you're being lied to. That you have to understand that there is heartbreak and despair. We talked about this, I think it was earlier this week, about emotions that kids need to be able to feel when they're young so that they learn how to handle them when they're no longer young. You need to know what disappointment feels like. You need to know what loss feels like. And I'm not talking about losing the Little League game. I'm talking about losing something bigger than that, about rejection. You need to know what it feels like to fail so that you can learn how to handle those things. All of those individual negative feelings help you process and work through the positive emotions that are their counterparts. If you know what it's like to lose something or someone, you're going to appreciate those some things or some ones that you still have in your life more while you have them. If you know what it's like to fail at something, you're going to appreciate what it means to succeed at something even more. You have to be able to taste both sides of that experience in order to fully understand it. And you must experience both sides of that coin if you're going to learn how to handle it when you're a grown up. And we live in a society, and I don't know, Ryan, if it's our generation or if it's a little bit older, a little bit younger, of the bulldozer parent, Tyrus was talking about that, or the helicopter parents, or whatever they all are, that want to make sure that your child has no negative experiences. It's not a workable way to parent your kids.
No.
And it also doesn't breed hope.
You're doing a disservice to your kids by doing that. You're not equipping them to be well-rounded adults that can handle rough situations. And that's kind of your goal as a parent is actually your goal as a parent is to work yourself out of a job. And whenever you shield your children from any sort of adversity, instead of guiding them through that adversity and how to respond to that, you're doing a bad job.
And also, if you think you can accomplish that kind of, whether through helicopter parenting or bulldozer parenting or whatever, if you think you can accomplish the kind of life and if you're sort of trying to craft your child into this perfect thing, then you think you can avoid adversity for your child, you're going to fail. And then you're going to also constantly be living in guilt. So it's not good for you either. It's not just bad for the child, it's bad for you too.
Is it such a bad thing to also put Christian faith out there as an option? Because right now it's not an option. Would you agree with that? Like in the world that we live in, and the things that we can use to medicate our anxieties and to quench the worries that we have on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just talking about life experiences. I'm not talking about out of control inflation or crazy gas prices or a border that looks like it's completely, what did they just say? It's the most dangerous land pathway or whatever in the world.
Journey. Yeah.
Yes. In the world right now. I mean, if you're paying attention to the news right now as a grown-up, it does feel pretty hopeless. And if you're a kid and you're exposed to any of this, or if you're a kid and you're exposed to adults who want to expose you to this so they can appropriate you, I just feel like of all of the options that are being forced in front of our children's faces right now, can we just throw Christianity in there? Or faith? Just faith in general. I'll put that out there. Can religion be one of those things once again?
Well, I think it's there. I don't know that it's left, but as far as options go, if you're walking into the buffet of of life's choices. That one, there's a whole bunch when you walk in that have lights on them, and the faith one's over kind of hidden by the bathroom. Like, I don't think it's gone. I just don't think that it's really it's highlighted as much as an option, or it's hidden, or just said, you know what, don't worry about that one. We tried that one. We don't like that one. You shouldn't either.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I agree. I agree with that. I think that faith is kind of the option, and it's not so much it's not so much is there faith. It's just what are you putting your faith in? And I think that everybody has that empty space in them, and they always try to fill it with something. And you
themselves.
The worship of self. I look to the government.
Everybody worships something.
Absolutely.
Everybody worships something. If you think that you're agnostic, if you think that you're an atheist, you still worship something. And generally speaking, if it's not a higher being, if it's not a God or my God, I would say, you generally speaking replace that with yourself. And I will tell you, as a Christian, when Christians experience the brokenness that comes along with being a Christian, which is the predicate for Christianity, which is sinfulness and brokenness, Christians, I myself will replace God with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I need to be brought back into my Christian faith and be reminded that is why we have a Christian faith and why that is important. It is nobody escapes that, but everybody does worship something. And that constant gaping hole that people try to fill with something that is like more like that your existence is more than just your earthly time here. You can't fill that hole with yourself. It's insatiable. And I think in a world where we talk about indoctrination in schools and what we're trying to make sure our kids come out of, and they're 9 freaking years old and they're in classrooms and they're being exposed to educators who want to explain lifestyles to children so that they can understand more about them. I mean, if you breathed words of Christian faith in a public school, it would be headline news. And if you follow Libs of TikTok on Twitter, every day there are teachers who are talking about how they are pushing agendas, even on, the air quotes down low, which it's like, this is how you can subtly do this, that, and the other thing. And then they put it on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't think this is how you do subtle.
This is how you do it subtly while wearing the LGBTQIA flag on your shirt.
Yes. This is how you can subtly send the message to these children. Why do you feel like you have to subtly send messages to children? You should either be able to say it or not. Man, I'm so frustrated by it. And I am willing to put myself out there and say, of all of the things that we're trying to put in front of children's faces these days as options that they have to choose, let's just maybe go back to trying Jesus as one of them. For me, that's for me in my house.
Well, and I'm so confident in saying, give it a shot. I'm not worried that Jesus will fail. Jesus will succeed. And so I'm not worried about it. So let's put it out there and let people try it out.
Yeah. I just think of all of the things that are optional these days. It's interesting to me. I'm kind of with Ryan on the you got to go to the non-gendered bathrooms in the corner to find the Christian ice cream machine that is broken down half the time.
Right, exactly. And just to add to what you're saying and being kind of vulnerable about it, all of us, the 3 of us in this room anyway, we all profess Christ as the most important thing in our life. And yet we fail daily to even put our hope in him, because if you ever go through depression or whatever, you're realizing I actually am not practicing what I preach all the time. And so I think being vulnerable is also saying, while we do think that he is the solution, we fail at that all the time. So
yeah. It is the most important part about being a Christian is understanding that you are first and foremost the sinner that does need a savior. And if people are pushing Christianity on you or to you or around you with some sort of judgment that doesn't include the person who's doing the professing, they're not doing it right. That's my opinion. I guess we all agree on that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Frey Show in just a minute. I don't know if I just made half the people listening turn this radio show off, but if you're still here, we appreciate you and would love for you to go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll, which you can find by going to YouTube. Just type in Annie Frey. You'll see that we have a live video up right now. And in the live chat portion of that, you'll find this poll regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency. What should President Biden do? Finish his term, step down, or be removed? Your vote and a comment, if you so choose, on the YouTube channel. We'll be back with more Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
Anytime you want to, pick up the telephone.
Decision 2022 is happening. Are you ready to decide? The primary candidates are here because they want to talk to you. Decision 2022. Coverage sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
A bad team facing a good team is never completely out of it.
Nick Costos, co-host of You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the BetQL network.
There's 162 games in the season. The best teams are going to lose 60 plus times, and the worst teams are going to win 60 plus times. Each night is its own individual entity. That's what makes betting on the baseball regular season so much fun.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to You Better You Bet with Nick Costos and Ken Barkley, streaming weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group, along with Bob Kershaw, the family-owned and operated business. You can go to retirementkey.com, waiting for you to make your appointment with them to engage in your worry-free retirement. Yep, you can reach out to Thomas Helbig and schedule a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and join the host of Annie Frey Show listeners who have partnered with Thomas Helbig to make sure that the retirement that they have worked so hard, sacrificed over the course of decades, to save up for, that it's going to be there and you don't have to sweat it. That's what Thomas Helbig makes his living off of, is helping people exactly like you. He's never had a client lose a penny. Reach out to Thomas Helbig at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 and schedule your appointment today. When you visit him, you're going to get a copy of his second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. It has all of the secrets, all of the tips that he has to make sure that you can engage upon this protection of your retirement and make sure that you are in control of your money when that time comes. If you're 55 or older, now is the time to call Thomas Helbig. 314-993-9494. Schedule your appointment. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you give him a ring. You can find him online at retirementkey.com.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Attention. Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free, as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit testkitforfree.com to register now from the comfort of your own home. That's testkitforfree.com to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to testkitforfree.com today. Paid for by TRO Health.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue to take Andro 400, and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Wider than a mile. This is ANN-IE. Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show.
Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker.
That's funny. Here's a Breitbart article, Breitbart.com. Take it for what it's worth. Representative Carolyn Maloney. Are you familiar with Representative Carolyn Maloney? I wasn't.
I know her name
her?
rhymes with baloney, which I like.
Can you spell Maloney?
Malogna.
Close. No, that would be Malagna. Didn't we say that something about that the other day when Hannah was in and she like had never heard the baloney song or something like that? We're like, okay.
Well, we should do that now. My Maloney has a first name. It's Carrie.
So Carolyn, that's not even how you spell it. Maloney is running in a primary against Jerry Nadler in New York because of the redrawing of those districts that took place after the courts got involved. And according to a poll, an internal poll from Suraj Patel, who is, according to this Breitbart article, quote, a congressional wannabe, end quote.
Okay.
That's harsh. Anyway, it's his internal poll suggests that Maloney is up 30% to Nadler's 28%, and his Patel is at 19%. But I didn't really realize that Nadler might be on the chopping block here.
Wouldn't that be something? How do you spell Jerry? Gerry? My Nadler has a first name.
That sounds bad. I don't think that means what you think it means.
If I added "Hey, honey,"
that sounds
to
really,
the beginning of it,
that sounds really bad, especially after that. Who was the presidential quote?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
It was Friday. Whenever Annie was on vacation, we were going over the.
Oh yeah, you missed that. We did best presidential jokes of history, Annie, and apparently, I think it was
it Hayes?
Rutherford B. Hayes or Warren G. Harding.
Yeah,
one of
I'm
the
very
two.
familiar with their quotes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had some great ones. Well, they found that one of them referred to a certain body part in love letters to a mistress.
Ew.
And named it Jerry.
I was going to say, did they name it Nadler?
No, they named it Jerry. So Jerry Nadler's batting 1,000. Anyway. Good to know.
I never really had the opportunity to talk about the Trump rally that we went to. That was something. You guys told the story about Hannah?
Yes. Hannah told the story about Hannah.
So tell me what Hannah told the people.
Well, basically, she said she got booped.
She got
yeah,
Secret Service
by the
booped
Secret
her.
Service.
Yep.
I thought about this. Yeah, go ahead and tell, just like get me up to speed with what the folks know.
So I'm going to set this up from where I was sitting. I was in the press pit, all day for the whole day in the sun, sweating, just roasting. Anyway,
with a new hat,
new American flag hat. I didn't take a MAGA hat into the press pool because I wasn't that brave. I will do that next time. But Annie and Hannah and myself, we all got passes also, like it's like VIP or early access or something like that, and they were actually on the benches and the grandstands near where Trump was coming in. Well, whenever Trump started walking in, Hannah started jockeying for position to get a better spot so she could get a good video of Trump, and I guess she caused a kerfuffle, and the Secret Service guy said that everybody needs to calm down and sit down or people are going to start getting thrown out. And so Hannah sat down, and
she sat down the beast and she tried to grab the wheel.
Yeah. Wanted to go to the Capitol. So anyway,
come on, Donald, get in.
So anyway, she said she sat down. Some guy came up, was like, "That's my spot." And she's like, "Well, just sit next to me." And he's like, "No, that's my spot." And then the Secret Service guy got angry again. And she said, "I had, a little Karen going on." She never did say what that was. And then she said, after everything kind of seemed like it calmed down, she said the Secret Service guy pointed at her and then gave her the "come here," with the single index finger, like "come here." As he walked over, and he's like, "What are you doing out of the press area?" Well, she was wearing her press pass, and she is not allowed to be out of the press area wearing a press pass, which we got as souvenirs, right? Because these are pretty cool press passes.
So the way that all worked out is we were invited to come be a part of the set aside, like it was called expedited entry, and it was like a VIP access. We got invited personally. I got invited, and I brought Brad and Hannah along to help me, and they were amazing helpers the entire day. And we also we got told that we were going to be put on a list, but the process was so like organic, and it wasn't like, "Hey, here you go. This is what you're doing." So they said, what you need to do is you need to request regular admission tickets. So I did that. And then they said, request media. entry. So I did that. And they said, we're going to put your name on the list of people who we will put that can have this expedited entry process. But we have to wait for all of, because you have to be, you basically get background checked, from what I understand, in order to get approved for that. So we had 3 different access points. But if you're in the media, you have to stay in the press pit. And so we got the media credentials, and we even went up to acquire, because Brad had to get his media credentials to go into the media pit. And Hannah and I were like, we kind of like to have the press pass from the Trump event. That would be kind of cool. And we said to the people, can we have both the VIP access to the front of the event, but we also have media passes. And we just did this because we didn't know which ones we were going to get approved for. And they said, oh yeah, you can have this, but just don't wear this outside. If you need to wear this if you're in the press area, but don't wear it if you're out here. Wear your wristband, which we already had on. Okay, great. So I don't know why Hannah put on her press pass, and she said that later. She's like, I don't know why I did that, but what she was thinking when and I was so proud of her, because she goes, I think I'm going to go down there and try to get as close as I can to get a good video. So she had this initiative, and she took this initiative to go down there. Her mistake was putting on her press pass because she was not in the press area.
Right. And so they sent her out. They told her she had to leave.
And so that's why she's not here this week. She's actually been excommunicated from the United States of America by the former president. We didn't even know he had that authority.
Yeah. I was thinking about this afterwards, and it actually makes more sense to me, because we had seen and actually had a conversation with the Secret Service agent that kicked her out. I think maybe even 2 times earlier in the day, because we had to get there so early to get press stuff set up. You have to sit. I don't know if you told this whole story, Brad, but we had to go get there early so you could set up all the cameras and everything. And then you have to completely vacate the area. And once you set everything up, you can't bring anything else into that place. And the Secret Service comes in and sweeps everything to make sure that, because the former president of the United States is going to be there, that everything is in the clear. And then after that happens, then they let the press back in, but you can't bring in new tech and new bags. It's super complicated. So we had to get there really early. And Hannah is not in Gitmo, Brian, on YouTube. Hannah is at the lake. Everything is okay. But when I was thinking about this because this guy knew who we were. And he had talked to us several times in a completely non-confrontational way earlier, because we had a couple questions. I think that the reason why you have to be in the press area is because if you were a nefarious actor, if you were somebody who was trying to cause trouble, and you wanted to look like you had access to a place that was maybe closer to the president, you might think, oh, I'll just get a press pass and I will work to get to a good position, and I'll put a press pass on, and then people will allow me to get up and close and personal. And right when the former president of the United States is going to walk in on his little riser thing and walk past and wave to everybody, if you have somebody who shows up there and they have a press pass on, and they've been explicitly told that they're not supposed to be out of the press area, and they have that on, then that might be a quick indicator that this person doesn't know the rules and hasn't actually been briefed on what the press is supposed to do, which we had been. It was in the email. I just think Hannah was trying so hard. She was really trying hard, and she was completely not trying to do anything bad.
No.
But when the Secret Service said you need to go, they didn't follow her out, and she just went into the press pit. So they clearly knew she wasn't a threat, but they couldn't also allow her to be standing there with her media credentials in a place where she wasn't supposed to be. But she really did handle it like a champ.
She curiously did not mention whether she had nefarious intent or not. So I felt like that was lacking from her story.
I grilled her later.
And Annie, I've got a question for you, because my end of this, I'm sitting there in the press thing, and I get a text message from you that says Hannah's going to come up by you. And that's all you told me. I was like, oh, look at Hannah's going to come hang out with me. And then she's like, I hear her yelling.
She's in cuffs.
Yeah, I hear her yelling from.
She wasn't in cuffs.
She's in the trunk of the beast.
Yeah.
She's driving it. You're going to have to jump in real fast.
Yeah. Well, Trump can scale the outside of it. So they just get that thing moving. They say, let's go.
Yeah, so I look over and I hear her yelling. She's, Brad. I was like, what? She's like, I got kicked out. Like, what?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a good story.
Yeah.
She felt really bad, but it was all predicated on the idea that she wanted to get, honestly, for the Instagram page, the best video she possibly could of President Trump going in. She's super dedicated, and she tried and has a good story that she will remember for the rest of her life.
Problem is she was thinking Hannah first and not America first. Clearly.
That's actually not what she was thinking. Man, but I mean, I was to tell you what, it was really interesting to be at that Trump rally. It was so hot. It was super, super hot and in the sun, and just a long day of waiting for the president to get there. And he didn't even really finish his speech. He kind of like wrapped it up in a hurry because there was a gigantic thunderhead that we didn't even make it back to the car entirely before the skies opened up. He said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to let you guys get struck by lightning. Make America great again." And then he pretty much just
yeah, that was it.
it was pretty.
I want that quote, Brad.
Well, I had already closed my laptop and stopped
okay.
the stream by then. So
Yeah, because it was ominous looking. I messaged Brad and I said, I think we're about to get hit by rain pretty big here. And I was facing the same direction that Trump was facing, and Brad was looking at the stage. I was behind President Trump. And it turned out that over my left shoulder and behind the big screen that said like "Save America, Welcome to Illinois, Donald Trump" was this gigantic thunderhead. He sent me a picture back. It's like, oh yeah, it's definitely gonna rain here. But we managed. It was a great trip. And I have to say how much Brad and Hannah fit in with my husband and myself and my parents, who also went to the rally. We all squished into my minivan. And drove.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
2.5 hours up to Mendon, Illinois, and it was seamless and it was great. And I can't wait. I'm gonna have to ask Hannah when she's back next week. But she said to me at one point, she's like, "Annie, your dad is exactly how you describe him on the air." And I told my dad that she said that. He goes, "What does that mean?" So I'm like, "I don't know. I'll ask her on the air though, in case it's really good stuff."
Yeah.
So.
See, she leaves a lot of details out. That's my
Yes. Well, we'll talk to her next week when she comes back. And when we come back from this segment, we are going to have the results of the YouTube poll. Let's get as many people voting on this as possible. If you want to leave a comment for us to read on the air, make sure you leave it there in the YouTube live chat. Regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency, what should President Biden do? Should he finish his term? Should he step down? Or should he be removed? Your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll on the break and the results when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Reardon Show.
The word hello has only been around since 1883.
What? Are you going to throw a flag on this one, Mark?
No,
Yeah,
do not throw a flag. Okay, go ahead and look it up.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service, easy to find online at aircomfortservice.com. If you missed our conversation with Corey Malone of Air Comfort Service yesterday, easy to go onto the podcast and listen to that and listen to him talk about some things that you can do in your home to make sure that your air conditioner system is working correctly, to make sure that you can take care of that unit so you don't have to have costly repairs down the road. Now, some of us are a little bit further down the road with our AC units than others. And if you know that you have a replacement coming soon, let me talk to you about how Air Comfort Service can walk you through that process. First of all, they have 0% financing options available for you that can help make the replacement and getting into your comfort zone a lot more comfortable. Also, they have rebates available for you to check out, which can make the budget process a little bit easier to take. If you need to make sure that your air conditioner unit is functioning properly, if you haven't had maintenance done to it or a tune-up done on it lately, you can reach out to Air Comfort Service as well. All of the information you can get by calling Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. You can visit them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Hurry in to Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. Get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin and save up to $500 on Sealy. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase, up to a $499 value. Or shop Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America, and save $500 on all Tempur-Breeze mattresses and get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles, They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Here's a question for you. Why is it that some people aren't as stressed out about the future as you'd think they'd be? Answer: they're probably among the millions of Americans who have prepared themselves with emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. If the worst ever happens, literally millions of American families are already protected from dealing with empty store shelves. Is yours? If not, go to mypatriotsupply.com right now and grab some emergency food kits, at least one for each member of your family. These kits give you a wide variety of delicious meals that average over 2,000 calories per day. Everything stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. Order your kits now by going to mypatriotsupply.com. Your order will ship fast and arrive discreetly in unmarked boxes. Listen, this is something you need to jump on now, before the next news headline stuns the world. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for summer with a cooling system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. To get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. I got to tell you, it's really easy to listen to anything that you missed on the Annie Frey Show. There's two different ways that you can do it. The Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it. There are some pretty cool things coming around the bend with that app as well, with some updates. But if you listen to us and stream us live on the Odyssey app, you can also rewind 24 hours prior to that moment that you logged in, which is kind of cool. So if you want to start the show, if you missed the beginning of the show, you could go back and pull us up at about 12:05 when we start the show, and you could catch the whole thing. That would be awesome. But you can also check out the podcasts that are available there on the Odyssey app as well, or basically wherever you get your podcasts from. Did you guys vote? Did you actually go to the poll and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll?
Yeah.
I have not voted yet because I was going to pull it up on my phone and do that, but then I never found a good time where I wouldn't be on air and accidentally make noise.
That's fair. So let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. If you haven't gone to vote, you can still do so now before the show is over. Regarding the next 2.5 years of the Biden presidency, what should President Biden do? Should he finish his term? Should he step down? Or should he be removed from office? 26% of the over 150 people who voted said he should finish his term. So about a fourth. 30% said he should step down, and 44% said he should be removed from office.
Wow.
I'm surprised more people didn't say step down like you guys did.
Yeah, well, I said step down just because of the word should. What should he do? Because what being removed is not really what he should be doing.
Right.
That's something that would be done to him. So I think if we're talking about making the right move, that's probably the best move for him personally and for the country.
I would say, yeah, for the country, because to have him removed is going to do nothing more than create more division in the country. I mean, if he steps down, if he says, hey, I can't finish this. I shouldn't do this. I'm done. That changes the dynamic of him being not in office anymore.
Yep, you can still go and vote at the Anti-Frey YouTube channel. We are live right now, as we are each and every day, and the poll is right there in the live chat. I'll read to you some of the comments from folks who have left their thoughts throughout the course of the show here, and we've set them aside. Eddie on YouTube says, I want Biden to finish his term, not because I like him. I am terrified of what would happen if Harris were running things. Kenny says, finish his term. I don't want Harris as president. Betsy said, hard poll today. Yes, should step down, afraid of who and what would happen afterwards. Mark on YouTube says Biden should finish his term. If he's removed or steps down, then we have to deal with Harris, which is worse. Vicky says, I chose remove from office, but I'd be satisfied if he stepped down. But I also want him to finish his term because I know what Harris is capable of. You guys sense a little bit of repetitiveness here.
Mm-hmm.
The trepidation that exists from Kamala Harris taking over is a real thing with our listeners.
I think that's a valid concern because right now we're pretty, I think on a daily basis, we're seeing what it looks like when the staff runs the asylum because Biden is clearly not calling the shots. And when he does, he doesn't really know what he's doing or saying. With Harris, she probably would know what was going on. And just from internal reports, she would get rid of all of Biden's staff because their staffs apparently hate each other. And so you'd get a completely new staff. It wouldn't be the same ones. So I'm almost willing to take the shot that her staff would be not better, but just get rid of some of those Obama names that are in there that have been there forever and start over. Yes, she's going to be way far left, but she also won't be asleep at the wheel. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's a really tough
Kamala is more of an Obama appointee though than Biden. I think the Obama camp likes Kamala more than they like Biden.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of those names that we know that are kind of part of his internal staff. And so I don't know. You're right. I mean, Obama's team certainly views her with a little more favor than it does with Biden. So I think
is it better for the country for Biden to finish his term or to not finish his term? For the country, not for any political party. What's better for the country?
It's probably better that he finishes.
I think it's about the same. I don't think it's either one. I think you're going to get the same ideas coming out of whoever's president.
That is such an amazing question to not have an answer to. Because I'm with you guys. Like, you struggle with it. The disarray that our country would be in if there was a transfer of power. I think that we can't underestimate how that would be so disruptive.
And I said this earlier, and I'll say it again, that I think the most disruption that we would have would not be to anything domestically. Domestically, we're figuring out how to do these things without presidential leadership anyway. So that would just continue. But internationally, our enemies would look at this and just lick their chops.
I think that's when Taiwan gets invaded.
I mean, that's a good point. There's stuff like that's on the table right now, and other agreements and things that are kind of in works that would just be starting over from scratch. And you got, Russia invading Ukraine. Well, they do that because they see weakness. They're not going to see this as a renewed strength. They would see this as further weakness, and it would probably get worse everywhere.
Real quick before we go to a break, your dream matchup in 2024, Democrats and Republicans.
Joe Biden, Donald Trump.
DeSantis, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I think DeSantis Newsom is what's likely to happen. I know people still think Trump's running. I won't be surprised if he does, but I also think there's a larger possibility he doesn't than most people do believe. I think that right now he's doing everything he can for the midterms to get people in an America First mentality into government, and that might be his legacy, and it might be bigger than anything he could do individually by himself. But we shall see. Time will tell, and we'll have it all here on the Anti-Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk and on the Mark Reardon Show, which is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare, and you're close to full retirement.